you for joining.
How we doing? Thank you for having me.
So we're just pretty much gonna ask you some questions and see, unless you want to just tell us what American Unfiltered is about a little bit, real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I started it because I originally wanted to run for House, and then I realized shortly in how expensive it actually is to run a campaign. So I just kept doing the show, kind of dropped the House thing for the meantime. And it's really just about letting people know where they're getting fucked over by their government, by their state, by the interest groups and the lobbyists in general. It's about opposing foreign lobbying, opposing legal and illegal immigration, and trying to restore America to what it once was.
Hell yeah. Where are you from?
Originally Jersey, I live in Florida.
Florida now. Fishback, huh?
Oh yeah, I love Fishback. I should be interviewing him, hopefully over the next month or so.
Really?
I've
Cool.
met him a few times. Good, great guy. One of my favorite politicians of it. Probably definitely my favorite politician I've ever met.
Really?
Very
Really?
smart guy. Very capable. I actually, not a lot of people are saying this, but I think it. And he hasn't said this either. It's just what I think. I think he will run for president inevitably.
Really?
Yeah, I would say by 2036, if he's not running, I would be shocked. By 2036, 2040, I'd be shocked if he's not one of the major candidates in the running.
Yeah, I see a good amount of stuff on him. I've seen him and Sneeko.
That was a good one.
Yeah, he's got a different personality. I don't know how to put my finger on it, but I like what he says.
Yeah, I also just love the fact that he's a younger guy. It's so rare that you have a politician who's in their 30s and not in their 90s. So that part's nice to see as well. I enjoy that.
Yeah, we need term limits and term age limits, man.
I'm with you there. I'm definitely with you there. They should, when they start cashing Social Security, they should get the fuck out of the government.
Yeah, exactly. And especially for president, I think like 65 cutoff. You shouldn't be 70 years old going to be president.
Yeah, I mean, I would even prefer it under 65, but I think that's a pretty fair line right now because that's where we have retirement set. So I think that's a pretty solid line. It just doesn't make sense, you need old ideas to die off for new ideas to come in, and especially when the older generation, I mean, this is something like even like Tim Dillon says, and he's a comedian, but
I love Tim Dillon.
I love him too. But he talks about how the reason they were so willing to accept propaganda back then, because everyone always knows on some level you're being lied to or played or manipulated by your government or these groups. But the reason they were so willing to accept it is because life was easier and it was a lot more worth it back then. You could buy a house for 50 grand. You could buy a house off a minimum wage job, essentially. Not every woman was a degenerate ran through slut in every big city. So there was actual things to look forward to in life. It wasn't just, I'm working every day just to pay my bills. My wife is with me, but she wants to fuck the entire town, or she has, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same now. So when you think about like what Gen Z and some millennials and like what Gen Alpha is going to go through, it's like, okay, you got to understand why we push back so much harder than these other generations, because we don't have anything to look forward to, essentially. This is what we have to look forward to, is fixing this.
Yeah, we're just sick of it, and a lot more people are waking up. I'm seeing, like, even people that you wouldn't think would have woke up.
Yeah,
a lot of Democrats and Republicans actually having the same mindset on some things. Maybe not the far reaches of the left or right, but
yeah. Well, it's weird because
cool.
they don't. Politicians don't agree on anything, but the only thing they do agree on is let's send more money to Israel. Let's keep funding foreign wars, and that's where you should, if you're a normal person in America, like if you're not an extremely high IQ person, or that's where you have to realize you're being played and fucked. It's harder to see some of the other things if you're not a higher IQ person, or if you're not like constantly watching. But if you're just one of the normal people in America who works a regular job, doesn't pay much attention to politics, at the very least, you should be able to see like Democrats and Republicans hate each other, but they agree on this one thing. Maybe that one thing is working against my interests.
Yeah, we agree on a couple things. I mean, Epstein files, I think everybody agrees with. And then, yeah, lobbyists to our politicians. I don't think people are okay with that. I
I know
was
a
gonna.
lot of people who are weirdly. It's so sad, but it's like I know a lot of like older people who just they don't give a shit enough, and they're like, yeah, it's a good thing, and they try and I've gotten so many long debates where they're like trying to justify why we should be sending billions of dollars in foreign aid. I'm like, what you do not understand is we're not a financially successful country. We're 38 trillion in debt.
We
Affordability
were.
crises are a huge problem.
We were before these wars in the Middle East, man. I mean, like that's
And the
where all
Federal
of
Reserve too,
tr-
yeah.
yeah, trillions of dollars. Well, I was going to start out with a pretty easy question and then get into the Israel stuff.
All right.
Who do you think wins, Hamzat Chimaev or Strickland?
Oh, Strickland.
You think
Strickland for
Strickland's going
sure. I mean,
to?
because here's the thing. I mean, Strickland. I like that you asked this question. That's awesome. Wasn't expecting that. That's cool. Strickland's the fucking man. And not only is he like the best, he's the funniest speaker in the UFC, but he is just a really technical fighter. People don't give him enough credit because he is a boring guy to watch. Like
I like the Philly shell. I think it's dope.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's I don't know. He's special because. And why I think this fight's special, I've been saying this fight should happen since 2023. I love when they have sociopaths go against each other. And these are two people who like genuinely want to see the other person across from them dead. Like Sean Strickland's openly said, like, I joined fighting because I wanted to legally hurt people and I couldn't do it outside of this. And Khamzat's the guy who says, Allahu Akbar, I'll kill everybody. So when you put two guys like that, and one of the guys hates minorities, Muslims specifically, like when you put them in the ring together, it creates this thing that you've really never seen before in fighting. You see two guys who genuinely want to see death. And that's a really cool thing. But I think Strickland has the edge over him if Strickland can stay on his feet.
If he can keep getting up, he's going to get taken down.
Yeah,
so.
That's going to be hard. But he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. But still, it's like everybody's kind of a black belt at that point. So
his ground game is underrated.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what I was kind of saying earlier. It's like one of those things where it's like he's a boring fighter. I admit it. You know, he does the teep and jab. He just kind of approaches you like this the whole time. But at the same time, it's such a good technique that not a lot of people know how to beat it. And it's not his only technique. It's just the one he likes to go to. So when people try and like throw him off that or bring him to the ground, he still has moves and he can still work people. And people forget that. So I think Strickland by decision.
My co-host would say never bet against anybody with the name Chimaev or Agomedov or
He's partially not wrong. I do agree that it is scary. Like I'm not blind to the fact that Strickland could have a tough time here. I do agree. These some of these fucking like Chechen and Russian guys, like they are tough motherfuckers.
For sure.
The Russians specifically, the Dagestani guys are crazy.
They are crazy. I mean, you wrestle bears, man.
Khabib literally wrestled a bear. Yeah. When he was a kid, he wrestled a bear.
That's insanity. But all right, Strickland, huh?
Strickland for sure. I'm a huge Strickland guy. Strickland till I die.
I like Strickland too, but it's a tough fight for him.
It's gonna be a tough fight. I wish they gave him the White House card, but I get why they didn't, because you don't want to have Khamzat saying Allahu Akbar on the White House lawn, and you don't want to have Strickland talking about Epstein at the press conference.
I mean, why not? But yeah, I mean, Khamzat said something about like women like terrorists. You remember that?
I bet Muslim women do. I bet Muslim women do.
I was like, damn, that's gnarly. But yeah.
That's going to be the filthiest press conference of all time, though, for sure.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be
most R-rated press conference we've ever seen.
Chimaev couldn't even spell Strickland's name right on Twitter. He kept like tagging him with the wrong name. But, all right. All right, let's get back into this. What do you know about the Greater Israel Plan?
I mean, to my knowledge, and I feel like everyone even has like a different idea perspective. It's almost like it's not a conspiracy because it is a real thing, but similar to a conspiracy, everyone has a different idea of what it is. Like if you ask Benjamin Netanyahu or Tucker Carlson or Nick Fuentes or myself, or you ask anybody, everyone's going to give you a slightly different answer. But I would say the Greater Israel Project is Israel utilizing their ability to influence other countries through organized Jewry to expand their territory, to fulfill what they think is the Bible's prophecy, to rebuild their third temple and to expand their land.
All right. And the second part of that question is, do you think that's part of God's plan too, or is there a difference?
No, I think the prophecies of the Old Testament were fulfilled, and under the new prophecies, we are all equal under God. There's no chosen people. We are all the chosen people. The people who accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior are the new Israelite. You know, if you want to put it in air quotes, the Israelites. Like, we are the new people of Christ. So I don't believe. I believe it's actually like manipulation
theory, right? Replacement theory is what they call that.
No, replacement theory is when they want to replace white people in America.
No,
unless there's a second replacement theory that I didn't know.
I think there is. Romans 11 talks about the olive tree being Israel, like Israel is the olive tree, and the branches, the natural branches, are believing Jews that believe that Jesus died on the cross for their sins, and the grafted branches are the Gentiles that were grafted through faith. But it says never to forget the root, which the root is Israel. What do you think about that?
Like, what do I think about the verse, you mean?
Yeah, what do you think about, like, Gentiles don't support the root supports the Gentiles, and the root being Israel?
I would say that the like land of Israel, like the physical land, almost has nothing to do with the Bible anymore. When was Israel founded? Like 1947, or refounded in 1948, somewhere around there. I don't think it has any actual thing to do with the Israel of the Bible. I think it's a completely different thing made up of completely different people. And I think the idea that you know, that one group is superior to another is like the exact thing that they tell us to go against. You know, in American society, they tell us like nobody's superior, you know, no white superiority, no blacks, like nobody's superior to anybody. But then on a political level, we're told that Jews are basically all superior to us and we have to like bow down to them and, you know, protect them at all costs. And I just don't buy that. I think that's political propaganda, and it's not even like good political propaganda. It's not like when they like tried to hide that they knew about Pearl Harbor or like 9/11. Like, it's not even like well covered. It's like pretty out there in the open.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I was talking to my dad about it, and he thinks that Israel is not supposed to go beyond, like, what do they say, from the Euphrates to the Jordan or something.
I think like I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but I think you're right there.
Like, Huckabee was saying some crazy stuff with Tucker about, like, he would be okay with them taking all of whatever, Lebanon and Jordan, and
that is part of their plan for sure. I mean, it has, like, when you just look at actions and you look at like what we've done in the Middle East, how we've done it, where we've done it, and when we've done it, it's pretty clear it's done in a very systematic way so Israel can slowly but surely take more of that land and fulfill this prophecy in their eyes, but just not.
Do you think that's biblical, or do you think they're doing that to become a power, a world power, a superpower?
They want to be they want to become a world superpower, and we essentially are handing them the golden keys. Like Donald Trump talks about the golden age of America. This is the golden age of Israel right now. You know, our stock market's in the shit. Theirs is at all-time highs. We are sending our soldiers to die for them while they're getting exactly what they've wanted for the last 30 years. I don't think anything about it's actually biblical. I think it's we're creating an unchecked nuclear superpower that we won't be able to negotiate with on the same level that we've always been able to.
Yeah, that guy on Piers Morgan was talking about how Israel does have nuclear weapons, and Pierce is like, you're the first person I've ever had on that's actually said that from the Israeli government.
They never admit it, but they stole our nukes with the help of the Jewish mafia. Most of the Jewish mafia guys all worked with Mossad very closely, but they stole the nukes, and ever since we've been one step behind them, basically, ever since that moment.
So one of our followers has a question. Do you feel like Trump has America interest at all in mind, or is it just personal interests?
I would say less than 5%. Like a very small percentage of him actually cares about what America's feeling right now. Like he cares about what America's feeling because he cares about what Americans think of him, and that's really it. It's more of an egotistical thing. So I guess it is more self-interest, but it's like Donald Trump cares more about his poll numbers than he actually cares about, is this popular? And a great example of that is mass deportations is objectively his most popular thing he ran on. When you think of Donald Trump, you think of the border wall, you think of mass deportations, everything that he campaigned for the last, 10 years.
No new wars.
Yeah, no new wars, all these things. But mass deportations was the big one. Like when he came out in 2015, 2016, that was the big thing. And that was the thing everyone gave him shit for, was his stance on immigration. And Donald Trump recently basically said, we're not going to even use the words mass deportations anymore. They're too unpopular. We're going to pull ICE for the most part out of Minnesota. We're going to pull ICE a lot out of these major cities. And we're really only going to go into cities if they ask us to go into them. So that means no sanctuary cities, no real mass deportations. And they're actually bringing in more legal immigrants than they're deporting illegal immigrants. But he doesn't care about that, even though it's very unpopular for him to stop that among his voter base. But when it comes to the Iran war, which is extremely unpopular among his voter base, he's like, it doesn't matter what they think. This is in America's best interest. It's like, no, you are just being paid to do this. You were paid $250 million by Miriam Adelson to bow down to Bibi Netanyahu and do whatever the fuck he wants. And beyond the $250 million, I'd have to imagine there's some form of blackmail in there. We know the Israelis have blackmailed U.S. presidents for a long time. Like, they're the ones who held the Lewinsky tapes over Bill Clinton. I'm sure there was more blackmail with Clinton and Epstein. I'm sure there's blackmail with Trump and Epstein. I'm sure there's blackmail with Hillary and Epstein. There's blackmail all around, and it's just been an ongoing problem for a very long time. So I don't think he actually has America's best interests in mind outside of just his ego of, like, what do Americans think about me? Like, do they want to fucking kill me or not? Like, do they still want me to be president?
I think even if he doesn't like you, like even if you're a politician that he doesn't like and you say something nice about him, then you're automatically on his side. That's how weird his ego is.
It's also really weird because if you notice, like, all the guys surrounding him are people who were never Trumpers. Like, Vance called him Hitler. Vance literally called him Hitler. And now he's the VP. Vance is the biggest, I think that's one of the biggest psyops, him and Rubio, but
Vance, Rubio, Peter Thiel.
Yeah, Vance is having this Peter Thiel party in, this weekend? He's having a massive party, $250,000 a seat at one of Peter Thiel's companies or at one of his buildings or something. But it's basically like a Peter Thiel event with JD Vance, and they're going to charge $250,000 a seat. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of big names in politics and lobbying.
Backed by Turning Point USA.
The Turning Point stuff is weird too. A lot of unanswered questions there. I personally think Candace is an idiot, but...
Well, that comes to actually my co-host Herman's question. He wanted me to ask, do you think there's more to the Charlie Kirk story, and do you think Candace is totally insane?
I think there's more to the Charlie Kirk story, and I think Candace is totally insane. I think Candace is a total fucking retard. But here's where I'll give Candace props. Candace has the balls to ask questions other people aren't, and she has the balls to investigate it. And it's not just she has the balls, she has the means to do it. Like, she has the ability to do it. Like, if I had a network of 10 million people who could all work as my internet sleuths, and I had a husband worth $200 million, I would be able to do this as well. But she has the access to that stuff, so she is doing it. But where I give her shit is two different things. One is the grifting part of it. It's not necessarily a grift to investigate it. Where it becomes a grift is saying, I have this information, but find it out tomorrow. It's like, okay, bitch. Like, men used to hit women for that. If you have the information today, tell me today, you stupid bitch. Like, don't wait till tomorrow. The fuck are you doing? I hate the, find out next week, find out tomorrow. It's like, kill yourself, sweetheart. It's like, fuck you. I
do like watching, though. I pray for discernment, so I try to, I don't take everything for face value, but I like watching. I think it's fun watch.
I think it's entertaining. And then the only other thing I'll give her shit on is really just some of the theories are so outlandish. And, the fact that some of the
Turkish
theories...
tribes?
It's not even that. It's, the dream stuff is where it really... If she
Charlie
did
was
everything minus the dreams, I would be like, okay, whatever. Like, you're investigating leads, so be it. Not every lead's gonna be credible or pan out. Like the trap door and the palm pistol, it's like, okay, if you want to investigate that, that's fine. But stop talking about how Charlie came to you in your dream and told you that someone betrayed him. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, like Ronald McDonald came to me in my dream. Like, does that mean I'm the new CEO of McDonald's? No. Like, it doesn't mean shit. Nobody came to you in your dream.
time traveler shit and alien shit has got everybody off a little bit, I think.
The time travel, yeah, the Project Looking Glass did there, the astral projection or whatever I forget what she said specifically, but it's just so ridiculous. It's like you are at a point, like Candace has to realize she is like a somewhat credible name in the media, and people are just gonna not take her seriously at all. And I don't know, I mean, she has to have some awareness that she is like a black woman in politics, and it's like, black people already have a low IQ, and people don't have an extremely high opinion of like black behavior in the country. Not necessarily the people, but the behavior at the very least. You have to put on a good like you have to be a role model. You have to be like smart. You cannot be up there talking about dreams and astral projection and time traveling and expect anybody to take you seriously as like, you know, the black woman in politics. We're just going to look at you as a crazy bitch.
Yeah. And saying, I mean, that's one of the best pages on X is
Candace Owens can't read.
That's so funny. So funny.
It's a great page.
It is a great page. Her and Nick Fuentes beef might be one of the funniest things of all time.
Did you ever watch the interview?
I did watch the interview. I like the interview.
It started because of race, pretty much. I think where it all fell apart was when he said that black people are lower IQ. And then she goes, oh, but Egypt's not. And he's like, sub-Saharan.
That pissed her off, definitely. That pissed her off. But the part where it's like, Candace needs a spank, and I couldn't believe she played that. I thought that was hilarious.
So fun. I mean, her husband's like sitting on the other side of the camera, too.
George.
It's got to be a humiliation ritual. I mean, that's a weird story. They got married after 2 weeks of knowing each other on Zoom. Like, I don't think they'd ever really met before they got married, to my knowledge.
Some handler type shit going on. Same type of shit.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on. I will say, I do think there is a lot of credible evidence to show that Erica was possibly Charlie's handler. I do think there is a lot of evidence. Like the new CIA video, where she's in the training video, that is really weird.
That even got put on Joe Rogan when he was interviewing Mark Norman.
Love Mark Norman. Love Mark Norman.
Man. I love Mark Norman. Comedy.
He's a great guy.
He is. So, do you think Erica Kirk had anything to do with like the assassination, or?
I don't know. I don't think so.
What do you think of Mitch Snow's testimony? You think that was all bullshit?
Remind me which one that was. There's so many different ones that I'm.
It was the guy that Candace had on saying that he saw her at Fort whatever that military base was.
I don't know. I think a lot of the things that actually tie her to the murder are pretty loose. If you can make a clear connection to her to Mossad, you could probably make it more credible. But without that, it's because for me, you know, you could always find like a reason like, oh, this person would have benefited from the murder. This person could have benefited. But it's like you can find a way anybody, like even me, like I'm someone who is extremely sad about it. But I could even like, you could find a way I benefited. Like you could even like make the argument like my show got marginally bigger because, you know, less people were watching him and, you know, his viewers distributed to other like you could find a reason why anybody would benefit, even if it's like a smaller or bigger reason. So I don't think like the who benefits and like things like that is a great reason. I think we need to have some actual evidence. Like if you can't prove it in a court, it's probably not good enough evidence for the public. And that's the problem we're dealing with now is it seems like this trial is going to happen behind closed doors for the most part. And I wish this should be the most public trial of all time, more public than OJ. Because
I think all of them, all big trials should be public, just like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Like, you know how many eyes are on that man?
I agree. I think most of these massive political trials, if not all, should be public. Because the public is going to be able to watch it and notice things that other people wouldn't. Like, there are, autistic savants who are going to notice little things. There are just things that we would pick up on. And maybe we would be able to see, okay, like, Candace isn't credible at all. Like, it's very clear Tyler did this. Or we would see the opposite. Like, there's no fucking chance this kid did this. Candace, go 10 times the speed you're going right now, and maybe we get some more money behind it. So I think it should be public, and I think the fact that it's not is slightly suspicious in itself. I think there's a lot of weird things, but as of now, I don't want to definitively say, like, Eric or Kirk knew about it, because I just don't see the evidence, sadly.
Yeah.
But I do see motive. I just don't see evidence.
Yeah, I see. CEO within like a week of him dying. But do you think Joe Kent leaked stuff to Candace?
Possibly, but I don't give a shit if he did.
Yeah,
I like leaking something to Candace is a lot different than like leaking something to, he's counterterrorism, like leaking something to a terrorist group. Like, you know what I mean? I don't give a shit if he like leaks to Candace that like Charlie sent this text getting out of the Israel lobby. That's, if anything, that shouldn't have been kept private in the first place by Hammer, Colvett, and the other guys in the chat. So I think that the public deserve to see that no matter what.
What do you think about Joe Kent?
Controlled. He's a CIA guy, so on some level you gotta be suspicious. Similar with Tucker. It's like when I was watching that interview with Tucker and Joe Kent, all I could think about is like, this is a highly controlled conversation. This is two guys who have somewhat of a CIA, like Tucker's connected to the CIA through his dad. Joe Kent was actually CIA. So like, these are two guys who have CIA training, who are connected in many ways. And it seems like they're really trying to control the narrative themselves and steer this in a very specific direction. And it makes you wonder, it's like, it's not to say that they're wrong necessarily, but you have to explore the directions they're trying to get you to avoid when you see a conversation like that. So you see them saying like, oh, Israel killed Charlie Kirk. It's like, okay, like maybe we'll look into that, but we also have to look into the other things. They talk about, what got him fired, like leaking stuff, or everyone was saying he was leaking, but he was opposing Israel, or what got him to step down. He was opposing Israel, influencing us to get into this war. You got to look at like all different sides of it, and I tend to agree with him actually on most of the things. I tend to think he is kind of telling the truth, but I do think with a guy like him, you do have to be cautious because he is CIA. You can't just trust everything he says.
Do you think it has something to do with J.D. Vance too?
The Iran war?
No, just like, I don't know, all the leaking this stuff and like, I don't know. I feel like JD is trying to find a way to the other side of this without being destroyed.
His way to the other side of this is going to be, and I think Nick Fuentes actually said this. I'm not sure. I think he did. But JD Vance is, when this war does end, JD Vance is going to be the one to broker the ending of it.
Think so?
Yeah. JD Vance will be the guy who campaigns on, I ended the Iran war that I never openly supported.
You think that's why he's been so quiet? And Tulsi's
they're hiding him from the media, basically. They're literally hiding him. And while at the same time, it's not like he's doing nothing. It's not like he's sick or out. He's actively throwing a $250,000 a ticket party with Peter Thiel. He's obviously still very busy talking to the donors, talking to everybody. He's just not talking to the American people because he knows come 2028, it's going to be his ass on the line for this war, not Trump. Trump's going to be, 83 at the end of this? Yeah. Trump's going to fuck off with billions of dollars and his supermodel wife or whatever.
I've heard rumors about, you've probably heard the rumors about the third term shit, but
I don't think it's likely. I think you would have a better chance at like the midterms getting canceled, but I don't think either would happen. I think a lot of that's propaganda. Like fear mongering and fear propaganda is the biggest thing
for sure
that we see all the time, and I think that's just that. It's like, because the left is more willing to engage in these like revolutions and protests and all that, while the right is more capable. Like, if shit hit the fan and it was left versus right in a fight, right would overwhelm. We have all the guns. We would overwhelmingly win. Like, I have, in my condo alone, I have more guns than a small nation. So it's like we would topple them like a regime. Like, it would, no questions. But they are more willing to go out there, like, commit the assassinations. They are more willing to go out there and protest and get violent and push back
For
against
sure.
the cops. So they say all these things because they know they can get millions of people out in the street, every few weeks. And whenever they do that, it does create a stir up in the media, the stock market. It fucks Trump up because he is so egotistical.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm the best.
Oh, what were you saying?
I just said I'm the best.
Oh, yeah, I mean, dude, that's literally what Trump is like. Like Trump, he does have one of the biggest egos, and that's one of the things that scares me a lot about this war, because I do think it's possible that he drops a nuke. I legitimately do think it's possible that he wants to. He might want to be the guy to be written in the history books.
Yep. You said a couple of weeks ago, like 10 to 20% was your thought on him dropping a nuke, and that's insane to me. That's scary.
I would put it at 10%. I would put it at, like about 10. The thing is, it's like, it just takes like so little to set him off, and I've seen it many times. It really doesn't take much to truly set Trump off. And Trump even threatened to use a nuke on Truth Social just the other day. They said, if you guys keep, I forgot where he said if they kept bombing, but he's like, if you guys keep bombing this thing, we will use weapons of mass, or I think it was like Qatar's oil field or something. And he was like, we'll use weapons of mass destruction against you. And it's like, okay, that's a crazy thing to read as an American citizen who voted for the president of no new wars. What
do you think would be his tipping point to deciding to do that?
Bad information he got from Israel or a false flag. I don't think there's anything Iran could actually do to force it to happen naturally. Like, they don't have the power to inflict pain upon us in the way that it would take Trump to use a nuke, but America and Israel does have the power to set up a false flag that looks like Iran really fucked us up, killed like, 1,000 people, a few thousand people, or some major name, and then that could be the justification. I think a false flag would likely be what happens.
I'm surprised they haven't done it on the Dome of the Rock yet.
That would be what happens if that happens is like, we might solve the Muslim issue in America if that happens, because all the Muslims might get the fuck out and go back over there to go try and kill all the Israelis. Yeah. Like, you'll see the mass migration of Muslims trying to go to Israel to go to war.
That's their third most holy site, right?
I think for Muslims, it might be their most. I don't know. I think it's for Muslims, it might be their most, or it might be the third. You could be correct on that. But yeah, I mean, if we were to take that down, or if America and Israel were to do anything that would like a false flag, or if Iran, I don't know. I mean,
a lot of Christians believe that third temple has to be built for Jesus to return, but I don't think they understand how terrifying and terrible the times will be after that happens, with the Antichrist sitting on that.
What kind of Christian are you? Are you Catholic, Protestant, evangelical?
I wouldn't even know what to say.
Non-denominational?
Probably. I don't like to say that, but probably.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just curious, because there's like different beliefs among different groups of Christians. Like, for instance, like Catholics generally don't believe there's any obligation to Israel, the Jews, or anything, while a lot of evangelicals, some Protestants, will feel that way. And it's one of the biggest divides, like, we're realizing and seeing right now in real time among like the youth in politics on this side.
Well, I feel like we're supposed to respect Israel to some point, but I don't think we're supposed to help them genocide countries. I don't think that. So,
what do you think about like the $3.8 billion a year we send them?
$3.8 billion a year. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if we should be sending it to them, but especially if they're using it to genocide countries. So, like,
do you think we should be their ally?
At this point, probably not. No, I think they're doing more harm in the world than, I don't know, but I think we're pretty much the same thing. You see on Fox News, they have the American flag with the Israeli the Star of David on it.
I saw that they blended. They've been doing that for a while. Megyn Kelly like just noticed it. They've been doing that for like 2 years now. But Megyn Kelly tweeted that out and it went viral. I'm like, I've seen
Yeah.
this every single day when I turn on Fox. Since
That's
October
crazy, man.
7th, it's been like that every day, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I might be for giving them some money if they're not in our politics, if they're not over here lobbying everything over here to do stuff in other countries to help them. I mean, I'm not for giving them money to do abortions in their country. I'm not cool with that.
Free abortions in Israel is insane.
Yeah.
The numbers on abortion are partially what radicalized me as well. Seeing that I think it's like 26 million Gen Z babies were aborted, that was pretty gut-wrenching. That was crazy to realize
That's
practically a
disgusting.
quarter of my generation was killed.
Do you think that's satanic?
Yeah. I think it's just human sacrifice is what it is. It's you're sacrificing a human. And I think on some level, like I do blame the women, but at the same time, it's like I have to realize, and I say all the time on my show, you can't blame women for being women. You can't blame a woman for not thinking in the way a man does because women are not men. Women, I always say, and like some women don't like this, but a lot agree, you have to treat a woman almost like a small toddler because that's what they're like. They're susceptible to propaganda. They're going to whine. They're going to cry. They're going to scream. They're going to be emotional. They're not always going to listen to reason. And you have to, if you like treat them like they are, it's not saying be disrespectful, but if you're going to treat them like they're an adult and act like they're going to be able to discern like what's propaganda and what's not, you'll be disappointed 9 times out of 10. So most of the women who are like very pro-abortion are just extremely propagandized. So I do blame them, but a little bit I don't.
Brainwashed. It's more than the government. It's more the government pushing stuff for their agendas. They don't want families.
When you grow up and all you hear is like, you don't need a man to help take care of you. A baby is just going to set you back in life. You're not going to be able to explore all your options. Like when you hear all these things that are like anti-family, anti-baby, anti-husband, anti-men, and that's all you hear growing up throughout your teens into your college years, and then you get to college and you see everybody else just slutting themselves out for a rum and coke. The chance of you being a high quality woman or a smarter woman at that point is slim and none. Like you're not gonna have a good chance until you are able to separate yourself from that environment and maybe find Christ.
Yeah, I watch some of those videos when they get asked questions like, what kind of man do you think you'll get being a OF girl or whatever? And they still think they deserve the best dude. I don't know.
And the biggest illusion with women is like giving women access to like Instagram and Tinder and that things like it's probably arguably one of the worst things we've ever done for women. Because now it's like 80% of women are going for 20% of men. Mm-hmm. Not only is it like fucking up the entire dating pool for like, average men or like below average men, but it's also creating false senses of reality for these women. Like fat women think they can fuck clavicular. Like fat women think they can fuck the best looking guy because like some black guy told them they're good looking. It's like, no, you're not. You're 300 pounds, sweetheart. Put down the Pop-Tarts and pick up the fucking weights.
I was at the bar last weekend and 2 of my buddies were arguing about who fucked the fatter girl. And my one buddy was like, I fucked a 300-pound girl. And the other one was like, yeah. I go, are you guys seriously like boasting about this right now?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
That's crazy. That's like John Cena. Like John Cena, I know is like he loves the fatties. He talks about it a lot.
Really?
Yeah, he talks about it a lot. It's weird. I remember watching a podcast with him and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's talking about, he's like, I broke the 250 club the other day. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that's absurd. Why would you do that to yourself?
Well, bragging about it is insane.
Exactly. Like, especially when you're a guy like John Cena. Like, he could have like most Coke models. Like, he could have very skinny anorexic women. But no, he goes the opposite way.
I guess you like what you like, I guess. I don't get it, but
it's got to be something fucked up in the head there. Oh, wait, what was that? I just got an update from the Department of War. Let's see what it says.
Yeah.
The Department of War will be deploying 3,000 troops from the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne to the Middle East. Okay. 3,000 troops hitting the ground.
That's after the 5,000 Marines that they sent in?
Yep.
You think they're going to take Karg Island? Try to?
Possibly.
I feel like that's a big bullseye, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. Like, I'm surprised China hasn't taken Taiwan. I'm surprised, like, I don't know. There's a lot of different things I'm watching with this. And there's a lot of, like, different. The more distracted we get with this, the more we open ourselves up for, like, other negative possibilities outside of this.
Like Israel going into Lebanon and no one even knows about it.
Not even just that. They started burning down houses in Gaza yesterday or
Really?
2 days ago too. Yeah, they started burning people alive and burning down houses, and they were literally setting people on fire, like families and stuff. But yeah, the Lebanon as well. I mean, they've been engaged in that for a very long time, but they're mass murdering Christians in Lebanon.
Yeah, in the last week, 800,000 citizens have been moved.
I don't know the exact numbers, but it sounds about accurate given like the areas they were targeting. I know you said you're not Catholic, but I saw the Pope said he called for an immediate end to the war, and Trump said no when someone asked him about it. And I was watching a video, and it was cool to like be reminded of it for a second. But someone basically said, like, guys, remember that we're all, even if you're in the United States, you're still under papal authority. You know, if the Pope theoretically was like, okay, they're mass murdering Christians in Lebanon, go and protect them. I would hope that millions, like I would go, I'd hope millions of more would. And I think that's like I don't know, that's something that, not that I kind of hope it would happen, but I hope the Pope calls for some form of crusades while I'm alive.
Yeah.
It would be fun. It would be fun to get the
insane.
boys together.
That'd be insane, man.
We all
A
go
lot of
take back
people,
Tel Aviv. We
yeah,
take the
a lot
Holy
of,
Land back for the Christians.
yeah, anybody who believes in Christ. But yeah, man, I don't know. There's so much shit going on right now. It's hard to pay attention to everything.
Yeah,
It's insane.
it's a very like kind of dull time in politics where it's like outside of the wars and stuff, there's not a lot going on, but at the same time, there's so many different things with the war, and there's so many different situations that could arise from that. Like I said, with like China, Taiwan, you could even have stuff with Cuba, there's stuff in Lebanon, stuff with Mexico and the cartels. There's a lot of different things that could pop off and could happen. You know, you still have Russia, Ukraine.
Yep.
So it makes me worried that like something else will happen and we're not going to know where it came from. Like some attack could happen and we're not going to know necessarily who attacked us, whether it was a false flag, whether it was Iran, whether it was Israel, whether it was any of the other countries we're kind of negatively involved with. I think we're creating a situation for ourselves where we're going to create a lot of confusion and going to create a lot of chaos.
Yeah. You worried about sleeper cells in America?
Yes, a little bit. Not as worried as like the media is trying to get us to be, but yes, on some level, I definitely am. You know, I think it's something you should always be aware about. But I'm also like, this is not going to sound great on a PR level, but like I'm worried when I see a lot of minorities around me anywhere. Like when I go anywhere and all I see is minorities, I'm like, okay, maybe we go somewhere else. Maybe we go somewhere else.
Yeah, I usually don't have a problem with that. I live in the sticks, but
I live in Florida, so it's like you're either around all white people, all Jews, all Cubans, sometimes all blacks, but it's rare where I'm at. It's usually the Jews, the Cubans, or the whites.
Florida's pretty dope. I like Florida.
I like Florida a lot. I live in a very Zionist area, but I like it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Have you had any problems with like people showing up at your place?
No. I mean, most people understand in Florida that like everybody's pretty armed. And most people would assume a guy like me is pretty armed. But no, I mean, I've like had people harassing me in public occasionally. Like I was out at the bar last weekend and I had some guy like talking shit. I get DMs all the time like I'm gonna kill you, you know, I'm gonna rape you. I hope you get Charlie Kirked. And it's like, okay, like let's just relax. You're a guy on a keyboard, like you're nothing. You're literally a nobody.
People are crazy, man.
But yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Like, I conceal carry everywhere I go. I got an AR-15 on each side of the bed. Like,
Yeah.
I'm more than fine.
Michigan's trying to pass a law where you can concealed carry. Anybody can concealed carry without a permit.
That's what they have here now. You can open or concealed without a permit now. As long as you fit the criteria to get a permit, you don't need one, and you can open or concealed, it's cool.
We can open here already, but they're trying to pass the concealed without a permit, which I'm excited for.
I like concealed way. I don't like open carrying. I rarely like it.
Yeah, I don't like it because I have a lot of revolvers. But I'm happy because now I can go hunting and not have to have my bullets separated from my gun, all put in different spots. I could have my pistol right in my center console. It'd be sweet.
Yeah, that part is nice. Being able to, because I never got the concealed carry license because like shortly after I moved to Florida, they changed the law that you could conceal carry without a license, and then shortly after that is when they did the open carry. I'm hoping Fishbait gets elected because he said he'll get rid of the 3-day waiting period and the ban on bump stock. So
Nice.
that would be cool.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd ever get a bump stock, but I like to shoot straight.
I would have it just for shit. Like, I don't know. I have a lot of really random, crazy things that it's like, if shit ever hit the fan and we were ever in like World War, whatever, you know, I'm protected. Like, I have a 50 cal in the drawer that I'll never use. Like, never, unless I need to blow up a truck. I don't plan to ever take it out of that drawer. So it's like, I have just shit where it's like, okay, like, I have this just in case. You know, I pray I never need it.
You might have to shoot down an IDF helicopter one day. Who knows?
That would be crazy. When the boys drop Tel Aviv for the Crusades, we'll have to bring it.
Yeah, I guess. What do you think about the midterms?
Republicans are fucked. Surprised about the Senate a little bit, not gonna lie. A little surprised to see that they're gonna lose the Senate too, but I think they're fucked. I mean, I think the midterms are gonna put so much like, here's the disappointing part of what's gonna happen. The midterms are gonna put so much pressure on Trump's administration because they're gonna see the Republicans, like, right now don't realize how unpopular they are. And they will realize it when the midterms roll around and they get absolutely rolled over in the midterms. And
impeachments?
Yeah, like, that's the two things that will happen is, one, you're going to see an insane amount of pressure from the Democrats who get put into place, who are going to, like, try and impeach Trump's administration, who are going to be subpoenaing everybody. You're going to see all that. But at the same time, you're going to see an equal amount of Donald Trump's cabinet, instead of pushing back against that and saying, no, we still are the president and the admin and we can do what the fuck we want. What they're going to do is they're going to be like, oh shit, we're really unpopular. Let's roll back a few things to seem like we're a little bit more moderate and, you know, that we're not as radical, even though they're not at all.
Mass deportations.
Yeah, like, we've already seen that go away, but it's like deportations won't even be a thing. I could even see them letting in a few people.
Just, you know, mass amnesty.
Yeah, I could see definitely some form of a mass amnesty, at least for like farmers, hotel worker, like, because Trump, you know, I know people who've worked at Mar-a-Lago. Like, Trump hires illegal immigrants. Like, that's who he is. That's what he's always done. I know people who have worked there who work with a ton of illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
So Trump does it because it benefits him and it benefits his people. But yeah, we're gonna see Trump roll back all of his things that the people on the right or the far right want. He's gonna get those are gonna be taken away immediately. Once they see how unpopular.
I don't even know what's left. I don't even know if there's anything left.
There's very little things left. I mean, Donald Trump's
the border being closed. That's like it.
The border, yeah, the border is closed, but like at the same time, it's a misconception because they're still bringing in more legal immigrants than they're deporting illegal immigrants. Like, the deportation numbers are so low that they're actually just bringing in almost a quarter more legal immigrants than they're deporting. It's so bad right now.
What, from like India and China?
China, they took in 600,000.
Did they end up doing that?
Yeah, they're in the process of it, of getting. And that was all because of the trade deal. Donald Trump kept boasting that he was making a trade deal with China and he has leverage. And when he realized he didn't, he realized that was his only way out of it. He had to take in 600,000 Chinese students. But because of a law in China, pretty much every single Chinese national that comes into America should be deemed a spy, because if they're asked any questions by a Chinese official what they saw in America, they legally have to report on it honestly. So they're basically all just spies.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know. I don't know how he's able to do stuff like that. That's total opposite from what he said. Like, that's not America first at all. Come.
Yeah, he's completely sold out on the idea of America first, and a lot of that has to do with lobbying. A lot of it has to do with, you know, he came in, and the reason, like, we were all so intrigued with Trump in 2015 is because when he stood on the debate stage, he got booed by everyone in the crowd, and he said, the reason you're booing me is because you guys are the donors to this party, and I don't need your money. I'll do what I want because I have my own. And then they basically fucking took not all, but they took a lot of his money through the lawsuits, and through a lot of different things. And Donald Trump then took a lot of money from lobbyists, specifically
Yeah.
250 million from Mira
Yeah.
Nadelson. Yeah.
Mary Madelson, I don't know if she likes America or Israel more. I think she likes Israel more.
You have a good Trump impression. Yeah. I mean, that was when he said that, I was like, you're saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
And then
it's
Miriam
disgusting.
Adelson, her husband was Sheldon Adelson. They ran the casino empire.
Yep.
That's where they have their money. Sheldon Adelson was the one who flew Pollard back to Israel. And Benjamin Netanyahu met Pollard on the tarmac and greeted him and gave him a fucking hug or whatever. It's like, this is the same guy who spied on the United States, giving key information away. And
Didn't
somehow...
Huckabee interview him?
Huckabee met with him privately at the U.S. Embassy June,
Late
I want to
last
say.
year.
June or July or sometime over last summer. But it's like the fact that we have the United States ambassador to Israel, the United States ambassador, not Israel's ambassador, but a United States ambassador meeting with the person who spied on the United States government, and he's allowing that guy in the embassy is disgusting. Like guys like John Kiriakou, I don't know if you've seen him, but the CIA guy going viral, ex-CIA guy.
I like him.
But he keeps talking about, and like this is something we've heard before from Sean Ryan and other CIA people, but they always say they never let the Israelis in their buildings anymore. They stopped allowing Mossad and Israelis in the CIA and in their buildings because every time they try and spy, there's not been a single time where they didn't try and pull something over their heads. And it's like, so why are you letting him in the embassy? Why are you letting him anywhere near a United States government official?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I heard they would let him in the White House, and then they would have to go do a search, and there would be bugs in the bathroom
every single time. Yeah, you can't trust them. That's the thing. We call them our greatest allies, but we can't even trust them. We can't trust our greatest ally. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah, I don't know how they would have better intelligence than us either. Like, I don't understand that. Maybe just for the Middle East, maybe, but like.
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's how they frame it. Like they say they get a lot of access to intelligence that we couldn't get. And that's really just because of proximity. You know, that's just like if we were to deploy strategic assets throughout the Middle East in a similar way that they have their assets throughout the Middle East, we could probably gather similar, if not better, intelligence. But we just don't do that because we utilize them. But at the same time, when we utilize them, they also lie back to us. You know, they tell us Saddam has weapons of mass destruction. They tell us Iran's 2 weeks away from a nuke for the last 30-something years.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so the intelligence is all bullshit in the end anyway.
Yeah. What do you think about Benjamin Netanyahu's AI shit and him being dead?
The video of the coffee where it was like filled up to the brim and it didn't spill. I remember watching that and I'm like, I just woke up and I open X and I see that and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch this in an hour when I fucking wake up because that's too weird to me. And then I watched it again and I was like, yeah, that's got to be fake. Like, that was weird. The video of him and Huckabee looked a little bit more real, but the video of him outside with the girls, the video of him at the coffee thing, and the video of him with six finger, like, those were really weird. And
they were weird.
I don't necessarily think he's dead. I think if he was dead, we would have found out by a leaker by now, maybe.
Yeah. What do you think when he said, I don't know if this is real either, but he also said something about Genghis Khan being just as like impactful as Jesus, and sometimes like enough power and enough evil will overcome good.
Yeah. It's that was an interesting speech too, because that wasn't even like the craziest thing he said during that speech, but that was incredible. Like, to call yourself like the guy who promotes the Judeo-Christian values, which in my mind that's an oxymoron. Like, one rejects Christ, one accepts Christ. Two very different things. You know, one is like pro-sacrifice, one is very different religions, very different groups, very different.
Well, they
beliefs.
can't even do that because the temple's not built, so they're non-practicing Jews.
They still
anyway.
do it in New York. Like the tunnels in New York City, they still do sacrifices in those tunnels.
Really?
Yeah, like that. There was I forget who, one of the bigger rabbis or one of the bigger guys at that church or at that synagogue was talking about it pretty openly on a podcast.
Ari Shafir.
Not Ari. I love Ari Shafir. He's a funny guy. I love the video of him going to the Jewish grocery stores, and he's like, "We're just signing this petition for you guys to apologize for killing Jesus Christ." They're like, "Why would you say that? Why would you come here and accuse me of that?" It's so funny. Ari is a great comedian, very good guy.
So funny.
But the most interesting part of that speech to me was this, and it's something that Jews actually do a lot, and specifically Netanyahu, but a lot of Jews do this. in these bigger political speeches. But he says in English, and I'm going to paraphrase, I don't know word for word what he said, but he said in English basically like, we're in this conflict, we're dominating this conflict, it's going to go quickly, we'll be out of it, and America and Israel will both be a lot better because of it, and it's not going to take a long time. And then he switches to Hebrew. And then if you take the time to translate what he says in Hebrew, he basically says, we're going to be in this for a while, and we're going to be in this as long as we fucking want to be here. And it's like, okay, you say something in a completely different language that really only your people are going to understand. The Israelis and some, Jews around the world are going to understand. And 99.9% of the people are not going to take the time to look that up. So it's just crazy to me that, like, they let them get away with that. But it's like, if a Muslim was doing that, where he said something in English and then he switched to whatever fucking language and he starts speaking Towelhead and like starts saying all these things, you would immediately have like Fox translating it. You would have every news source translating it and saying, oh, this is what he actually said. It's like, okay, why aren't we doing that with Benjamin Netanyahu? Why aren't we saying what he's actually saying, which is we're going to be in this war for a prolonged period of time and that a lot of Americans will die and you're not going to send any Israeli soldiers, but we're sending our troops.
Yeah. What do you think he meant when he said that about Genghis Khan and Jesus?
I don't think he meant it necessarily. Like, on some level, maybe he means it disrespectfully. But to my knowledge, he was like quoting somebody else. To my knowledge, it was a quote from somebody else. But the quote itself is not great because it's completely disrespectful to the religion that not only like, Israel is a Jewish country. I would say we're a Christian country. You're basically disrespecting the United States of America, the majority of its population and their beliefs and their God, essentially. Jesus Christ is God. He is king. So to say that like somebody is more powerful than Jesus Christ is, one of the worst things you could say to one of the most disrespectful things.
Why didn't he use Hitler in that analogy instead of Genghis Khan? So I'm wondering.
That would have been, Genghis Khan killed a lot more, I think.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
When you look at like genocides, Hitler's not even like I think he's like, he might be top 10, but I don't think he's top 5 genocides of all time. I don't even think he cracks that. Like Mao Zedong, I think had like 30 million. There's like
the Bolshevik Revolution.
Exactly. Like his numbers were kind of rookie numbers, and they don't even count the Armenian genocide. A lot of different things that have happened over time that don't even get talked about. And a lot of that is because like who wrote the history textbooks, And there was a good clip about this recently, but Robert Maxwell, who was Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Mossad agent, he's the one who owned the printing companies that would print the textbooks that we got taught in school. And then there was a clip recently that of, I think it was Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the ADL. It could have been somebody else. But he was basically saying like when, they're writing all this in the history books, we have to basically keep teaching people that it was the Palestinians who attacked Israel and that Israel was just responding, that even though the overwhelming amount of force was on that side, that, it was them who attacked first and we have to make them look like the bad guys. And he pretty much just said all this openly and out loud. And he's like, the history books have to reflect that.
Yep, I watched that interview. He said something about like you need to teach your children the right, certain way about history.
And it just kind of shows you, it's like, okay, like, if they're saying this in the modern time about this, imagine the stuff that was said around World War II when there wasn't fucking cameras everywhere. Imagine the stuff people were saying when they're not in front of a microphone and camera. Imagine 100%. The stuff that's said behind the scenes. They think they're just tricking all the goyim. But in the end, like, they had to realize eventually we would wake up. And maybe they didn't. Maybe they thought we were dumber than we were. And they might have been right about a lot of previous generations. But then you have Gen Z who went through 08, who went through 9/11, who went through the pandemic, who went through mass cancellations and, the hoe epidemic. And you can't afford a fucking house to buy, but you can go like deliver someone's burritos for DoorDash, like that's the American dream or something. And then you expect these people to just accept everything around them and not start to question every piece of reality surrounding them. And when people are in their homes and they're questioning everything, and you also have platforms like TikTok and X and all these, and people are seeing the war crimes in real time, we wake up very fast to that. And we're able to see like, okay, they were lying about this. What else are they lying about? And our generation seems to be one of the first ones who's willing to actually do the groundwork to question that. And not just question it, but to actually prove it. People have always questioned things, but we're the ones actually trying to like go out there and prove ourselves to be right.
We're tired of getting raped, robbed, and looted in our own country, huh?
That's one of my favorite things. I don't know where I've started saying that, but I remember I said it one day and I was like, you know what? We're being raped, robbed, and looted. Sounds
Yeah.
great.
And that we are. All right, couple more questions. What do you think is going to happen if we do lose, or if the MAGA Republicans lose the midterms? Like, who's going to be impeached? Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, I don't know, Donald Trump, and what happens after that? What does JD Vance become president? And
Yeah, I mean, I think Pam Bondi for sure, Kash Patel for sure. What you're going to see for sure is you're going to see subpoenas all around the board. Everybody's going to be forced to testify. No one is going to be held back from it. Everybody will be forced to testify, and maybe some refuse, but everyone will be subpoenaed. I'd imagine they make a strong pitch to impeach Trump, and JD Vance steps in. I would not be surprised at that at all. And I do think you're going to see a weird thing because it's going to be a mix of like, you're going to have the subpoenas, you're going to have the people testifying, you're going to have all of the scrutiny they're getting in the media, while at the same time, you're going to see JD Vance and Marco Rubio setting up for a presidential campaign. You're going to see like people within the cabinet setting up for their own political campaigns in 2028 as all that's going on. So nothing's going to happen. Like, not nothing's going to happen with the impeachments and that, but nothing's going to happen within the administration. They're not going to get any work done. Between the subpoenas and the campaigns, they will be doing nothing. Like, none of the MAGA agenda is going to be pushed forward. No mass deportations. You're not going to see any actual relief on affordability. You're not going to get, or we're not going to get anything. What we're going to get is a media shit show. We're going to get like political drama. You're going to have clips left and right of like people trying to like, Democrats trying to own Pam Bondi and Republicans trying to fucking do it like, make her look great in these testimonies. It's just going to be political theater for the most part, but I do think a lot of them will be impeached. I could possibly them seeing, if they are successful in impeaching Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, I could potentially see them like seeking criminal indictments against them. Potentially. It would be hard, but I could see that happening. I could see them looking to like possibly charge Pam Bondi criminally for withholding Epstein files and Kash Patel criminally for like lying about them. And even Howard Lutnick for like he'll be gone too. A lot of these people will be gone.
Epstein Transparency Act, I feel like they're not even half of what they should be. They're breaking a lot of laws.
You want to hear my theory on that?
Sure.
I think the Epstein files are the 9/11 files.
I mean, they talked about the 9/11 shadow committee that they asked Ghislaine to be on.
And beyond that, it's like not a lot of people took the time to like look at like the dates of the files. Some people were, but like if you look at the dates of the files and you realize, okay, there's 6 million. It's weird how it always ends up that number, but there's 6 million files. They've released 3. There's another 3 that they said they're not going to release. And those 3 million files, I think it's like 90-something% of those files are from 1998 to 2002.
Yeah.
Like almost all the files are in that time frame that they purposefully withheld. And I think a lot of that is because there is some connection. And we know that Epstein probably knew about it because he had the 2 blackmail paintings. He had the Bill Clinton sitting in Monica Lewinsky's cum dress, sitting all provocatively in the chair. And then he had the other one of George Bush sitting on the ground like a toddler, flying paper airplanes into Jenga towers, and they're like toppled down like 9/11. And it's a very obvious, like, I've got you blackmail painting. So I do think there's some prior knowledge. I think it's with their intelligence connections, and given that, like, the dancing Israelis, Israeli art students, we know Israel had prior knowledge. We know Epstein worked with Ehud Barak and all the former Israeli prime ministers and chiefs of Mossad. So I'd imagine Epstein knew. I'd imagine George Bush. I'd imagine everybody knew. I'd imagine Cheney, Bush, Epstein. I'd imagine the whole deal knew. But yeah, I think those are connected.
Yeah. Herman my co-host would have asked you, he would have said, but Trump's administration is the only administration that has released some of the files. So that's at least something.
I agree. But at the same time, no one else campaigned on releasing them. Like, it's not like I get the big argument is, oh, but the Democrats didn't release them, but the Democrats never said they would. Trump and his kids and JD Vance and Charlie Kirk, like, everybody made it. You know, that was one of their biggest talking points was, like, I remember Donald Trump Jr. saying, I'm on every government list besides the Epstein list. And then you have, like, Donald Trump saying, we're going to release the Epstein files, full transparency. Caroline Leavitt, we're the most transparent administration of all time. Like, nobody else was saying this. And sure, we can give him props for releasing 3 million.
You give him credit for release, not Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna.
I personally don't give Trump the credit. I give the idea that they brought that out there to the people the credit. Like, him campaigning on it and putting that power in the people to then bring that like, if he never campaigned on it, the people never would have pushed for it.
You don't think that was some type of lobby pushing him to campaign on that? And that kind of like holds the blackmail against him, even if he didn't know it?
I think a little bit. You're probably right on that. There probably was some sinister idea to that. The more I think about it, you do sound correct on that. But I do think in the end, the power being in the people's hands is always important. And I think the people are the ones who push for this. And I think Thomas Massey and even like Charlie Kirk, when he was alive, was one of the guys who was like, yeah, we need transparency on this. Like, I'm unwilling to accept no transparency on it. And I tend to think that if he was alive, things would be very different, not only in the media, but with how some of these things would have gone. But yeah, I think Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene were two of the biggest people in making it. Obviously, Ro Khanna too, but Ro Khanna's reasons for doing it are different than, Marjorie Taylor Greene's. Like, Ro Khanna wants to do it because he wants to bring down Trump. Maybe he wants justice, but at the same time, he equally wants to bring down Trump. While Marjorie Taylor Greene was somebody who did everything short of suck Trump's dick. She loved Trump. She gave everything she had to Trump. Trump still threw her to the side because of the Epstein stuff. And it's like, people like that, I think, who, like, she risked everything. Ro Khanna risked nothing. Realistically, he didn't risk much. Like, it's not surprising that a Democrat wants to do something that would hurt Trump. But somebody who has everything to lose, like she did, I think that's true bravery. And it's not to say what Ro Khanna did isn't great. It's just to say it's not the same as what she did.
You don't think Ro Khanna got backlash from some of his Democratic?
Oh, he did, but it's way different. It's like, he's not going to get ostracized out of politics for it. Like, Donald Trump's not going to run a campaign against him because it's in the day. He's not going to he's not going to finance a campaign against him or tweet out that, like, he should be primaried. That's just, it's very different than, like,
Mary
what happened
Madison
with Massey.
Given $20 million to primary him.
It's so funny because they dumped the money into a super PAC called Kentucky MAGA. Not like they didn't think that people would do the research on it. Kentucky MAGA is just an Israeli political super PAC where they donate monies to politicians for Israel, but it's called Kentucky MAGA to disguise it. And it's like, that should just be so fucking illegal. It's crazy that that's legal.
Yeah, I've been hearing like they're using MAGA Republican a lot more now. Instead of just saying like Republicans, they'll say MAGA Republican.
Yeah. Well, because MAGA was a great idea when it first happened. When it first came out, because MAGA was exactly the opposite of what it is now. It was the people have the power again. The people, not the globalists, not the special interest groups, not foreign lobbies and no foreign wars, and no foreigners in general, no illegal or kind of limit legal immigration. And then over time, it just flipped to like, okay, we're going to become a global. Like, all the MAGA people are now defending the very things that they stood against 10 years ago. And it's like, I look at the people like the Cat Turd account or like any of the big political shills, you see, and you're like, okay, like, you can go find a tweet from 10 years ago of you saying this shouldn't happen, and now you're pro it because Trump is saying it.
Yep, definitely.
And, like,
and then, like you were saying at the beginning, all the non-Trumpers are Trumpers now. Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, all of them. Pretty
much. And JD Vance is just one of the like biggest things with that I noticed, because it's like they wanted him in there for a very long time. Like, this is a 10-year play by the Peter Thiel lobby to get JD Vance. Silicon Valley wants this. And to be honest, it seems like they're actually selling out on him. I actually think there's a chance Rubio's their new guy. Trump met with just last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, but I think last week, Trump met with the top 25 donors to the GOP and asked them, do you like Vance or Rubio better? Who do you want to be the next candidate? And every single one of them said Rubio.
Really?
Yeah, so that's a
That's
little
crazy.
I
Yeah,
don't
they
like either,
wanted.
but I'd rather Vance. I'd rather Vance than Rubio.
Yeah, yeah. So you'd be against like a Massey Rokana thing?
Yeah, I don't think Massey's got the balls for president. If I'm gonna be
No.
honest, like the president, I need I need a president who's willing to almost martyr themselves. I need a president who's willing to martyr themselves for the greater good of America. I need a president who's willing to go in there and do all the most unpopular things that are going to restore and fix America. I need a politician who's going to say, every illegal immigrant, I don't give a fuck. You are getting deported, and we're going to do it as aggressively as possible. We will not hold back. I need
Yeah,
them to say we are going to do a clean stop on illegal immigration. Not a single legal immigrant will even come into our country. All foreign aid is immediately stopped until you can provide a reason that the American people accept for why we should fund your country. We are pulling out of every war we are involved in. We're done negotiating with Russia and Ukraine, and we are going to actively work on restoring value back to the dollar. Like the politician who gets up there and does that and talks about how we are
you,
being raped, robbed, and looted, like that's the politician that I would love.
you don't think he would do that?
I
Yep.
don't think he has the balls to do it. I don't.
Really? Putting his
Yeah,
neck out so hard for this Transparency Act Epstein thing? Yep.
it's not that he doesn't have balls. It's he doesn't have the balls to like stop legal immigration, and he doesn't
I
have the
could see
balls
that.
to like mass deportations. I had this debate with somebody recently on my show where we debated about ICE, and one of the questions was, is violence inevitable? And I said, yes, it is. If you're going to have mass deportations, there's going to be violence. There's going to be leftists pushing back. There's going to be immigrants who fight back. You know, ICE agents are going to get hurt. Immigrants are going to get hurt. And maybe some Americans are going to get hurt. But that is the reality that we have to learn to deal with instead of just say, okay, that's too much. We got to shy away from it like Trump did. And I don't think Massey's going to sit there and like theoretically say 20 Americans get killed over a year span, but in the same time we deport 15 million illegal immigrants. You know, I don't think Massey's going to stomach that. I think he's going to back down from that. And that's
So who
where
will?
I need a president who's going to be willing to do the most unpopular things just for America. And I honestly think Fishback could be that guy. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to run. I mean, he's too young. But like I said, I think 2036, 2040, I think Fishback could be the guy who is willing to do those things. I
Yeah.
like Fishback a lot.
Yeah. I like Fishback. I don't know a crazy amount about him, but I don't know. He gives me something off, but I like what he says. It's just his demeanor. I don't know what it is. It's just maybe weird. He's a
He
weird
plays
guy.
into Gen Z humor a lot. That's a
Yeah.
part of it. Like I feel the same way too because it's like you see like when you're out at a bar and you see like an older person trying to act like a younger person, you just get like a little cringed out in the back of your mind. You're just like, okay, it's a little odd. And that's kind of the same thing with him where it's like he's a 31-year-old guy trying to act like a 21-year-old, you know, with some of his humor because that's who he's playing to. He's playing to the, you know, thousands of college kids across Florida and the young men across Florida like Groypers and stuff like that.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense for sure.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's just part of his strategy. I think in general he probably is just like I've talked to him off camera a few times, and I think he is just like one of the guys. Like if you were to go out and get a beer with somebody, he's probably like pretty similar to like one of your buddies you'd get a beer with, or like if you're in an Xbox lobby and you're just like talking shit, like he's one of the guys talking shit. Like he's just kind of like one of the guys from like all my off-camera conversations I've ever had. He's very normal, very funny, you know, just like guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I do hope he wins. I hope he wins there in Florida. So,
Especially when he's running against Jay Collins, who wants to take away free speech for if you're criticizing Israel, and APAC Shakur, Byron Donald, who wants to just turn Florida into Section 8, basically.
yeah. Yeah. Well, man, I hope there's an upside. I don't know what's going to happen with the Iran war, but do you have anything else to say about that? Like, what do you think the end game is?
I bet this time next year we're still in it.
Yeah, I'd say so too. A lot of people were like, "Oh, we're going to be in and out in 2 weeks," and I'm like, "It's been 24 days."
Exactly. Like people don't realize how time like actually flies. It's like when we've been in there for over 3 weeks, and most people like don't realize that. They think we've only been in there for like a week or two. It's like, you guys just don't realize the actual extent of this. Like, when they say like 16 Americans are dead, that means 160 are dead minimum. Like, people
Yeah.
do not realize that the destruction and scale of this is so much bigger than like the average person could fathom.
Well, you're allowed to hide so much stuff under the fog of war, and
Yeah.
during war times also, they like to make it so you can't say certain stuff. Look at Tucker Carlson getting attacked. I don't know. What do you think about Tucker running? There's like a 4% chance on Kelce.
I think he will run, and I think
Just to
I would like
fuck with
Tucker.
Cruz? Just to fuck with Cruz? Or
that would be funny. I mean, Ted Cruz is one of the most low-life people in politics, no moral character, disgusting human being, and he shouldn't even be able to call himself an American.
Yeah.
In my
He's
opinion,
not.
like,
He's
a
a
Canadian.
Canadian.
Yeah, he's not a real American. He
He
Yeah.
said something about like we need to be nicer to pedophiles or something. I forget.
That was just him misspeak. That was a Freudian slip where he just misspoke. But he said, "Yeah, we have to be less critical of pedophiles." But I think he misspoke.
I don't give a fuck. That's
But
fine.
yeah, it's that was a crazy slip. I do agree. That was like one of those moments that you're like, "Fuck, I want to kill myself." Like, fuck, did I just say that? But yeah, that was bad. But I think, I mean, Tucker Carlson essentially changed the entire trajectory of Ted Cruz's career with a 2-hour interview.
I loved it.
That interview alone was enough to completely shame and isolate Ted Cruz to a whole new part of the movement. Because before that, like, people tuned into Nick Fuentes, people tuned into Dave Smith, they saw Charlie Kirk was asking some questions, but nobody realized like how big the infiltration problem, like, not nobody, but like the average person in America didn't realize how big the infiltration problem was within the government until they saw that interview. And after that interview, I saw a lot of people who like never were open to, watching Nick, or never were open to questioning the Israel lobby, start to really question it, because that was the first like really in-depth, in detailed debate we saw between two of the biggest voices on the right, where one side clearly dominated. Like, Ted Cruz's side didn't even hold up at all. And,
no, I mean, he couldn't even, he was trying to reference in the Bible where it says that, like,
Genesis, yeah.
Yeah, and he like, if you're running on that and that's like one of your main things, you should be able to say what verse in the Bible that is.
And beyond that, like, Ted Cruz is somebody who said, I joined the administration, or I joined the government to be the #1 protector of Israel. It's like, okay, so you're telling me you ran for the American government to protect Israel? Like, why not move to Israel and go run in their government? Why infiltrate ours? Fuck you. Like, you are a traitor at that point in my mind. Like, I don't see anybody who has their, like, if you have dual loyalty of any sorts, whether it's 2 passports or you hold a country just as equal as America, it's like, okay, get out. Like, I don't view you as a real American. I actually would prefer to deport you.
For sure. But what do you think about, I know you think Laura Loomer's hot and you love her and everything. What do you think?
Yeah, I love Jigsaw. Jigsaw is the hottest female podcaster there is. No, I mean, I love a crazy bitch. I love a woman who's been 50
we all
50 a few times. I love that psycho. Have you ever seen the video of her blacked out at that bar, like, hitting on the guy?
Talking to that guy.
She's like, "You're a perfect Aryan," and it's like, "Oh, you would have been so easy to kill back in the day. You would have been one of the first."
It is disgusting. I can't stand that.
She would have fell for a Nazi like that. she would have been sucking Nazi dick day one of the Holocaust. Laura Loomer was there. She would have been, "You're a perfect Aryan. Let me throw myself your way."
Her ex account is just, dude.
So
her
crazy.
and Mark Levin, I can't even read them.
It's blatant Israeli propaganda. It's like
they're
want to
imbeciles.
criticize. Yeah, they want to criticize Tucker, call him like Katarlson. Yeah. It's like, one, that's not even clever. But two, it's like, you are the biggest shill for Israeli propaganda that we've ever seen in the modern age. Like, Laura Loomer shills more for Israel than Benjamin Netanyahu does. And she wants to criticize other people. And then, where I don't know how long you've watched my show or whatever, but I did an episode where, when Randy Fine said the, like, Jews or dogs thing, he was like, if we had to kick out Jews or dogs, or not Jews, if we had to kick out Muslims or dogs in America, I would kick out Muslims. And I'm like, you saying that is opening the book for people to say that about Jews. Like, you don't realize that, like, this isn't a Jewish country. This isn't a Muslim country either. It's a Christian country. So when you say, like, should we kick this religion out, you're opening the doors for us to now say, like, Jews are dogs, the same way you're saying Muslims are dogs. And I really don't think they have realized that it's like the same way older generations were like, partially propagandized, but partially through reality, they all came to the same conclusion that, like, Muslims don't necessarily belong in the United States. We need to limit how many Muslims from these radical countries come into the United States. Like, there's terrorism, there's Sharia law, there's all these things that come along with it. But then you look at Gen Z and it's like, yeah, they're like kind of anti-Muslim, but they're also very like anti-Zionism, and a lot of them are anti-Judaism. And when Gen Z gets to be the age of like what Randy Fine and Ted Cruz and these guys are, if you don't think that we're going to be using the same rhetoric towards that as you were using towards Muslims, they're crazy. If they actually wanted Jews to be able to maintain a place in America, they would stop all that, but they don't.
That's why they're so hard on the agenda they're pushing right now. They want to get this done before we get into power. Yeah. They would like, they don't care about like, oh, we can do that to the Jews now too, since you said we could do it to the Muslims, because they think they're already going to have this greater Israel plan done. They're going to be a superpower.
The second we destabilize Iran, we've done that for them. And here's the two things that you'll see next. You'll see us move on to Turkey next. Turkey will be the next. Turkey's 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon.
Yep.
As a Greek guy, maybe I like it on some level. But at the same time, I don't want, not in America's best interest. And then you're also going to see Israel move on to India in a lot of ways. Not in a military conflict, but they're going to cozy up to India the same way they've cozied up to America. And we just saw Laura Loomer go over to India and get shit. I don't know if you saw that, but Laura Loomer went over to India and they were shitting on her. They were like reading all her old tweets to her. They're like, you disgusting bitch. Why would you say this?
It was great.
That was a good one. But you'll see those two things most likely happen over the next 10 years.
Yeah, she was hiding out in her Hilton hotel after that for the next 2 days.
Who wants to fucking go to India? I mean, it smells, it's gross, there's billions of people. Like, it's just, I don't know. I see no appeal to traveling to India or a lot of these places that people are like, oh, it's so beautiful. I'm like, it's probably not. Like, sure, maybe there's a beautiful part of India, but the rest of it's a shithole. And the people there smell like shit. And the water is literal shit. And you guys have a shit throwing festival once a year. I'm good on that.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Understandable. But you go to any big city in America and it's a shithole throwing shit at each other too.
I agree. I like some of our big cities, but I agree. As someone who grew up in New Jersey and was always in New York City growing up, and now I go back and visit and I'm like, wow, it's so different. It does suck. But it is a lot better in America. At least we have like you go to New York, which is objectively like there's a lot of gross shit, a lot of illegals, a lot of just really left-leaning things that I disagree with.
Rampant crime.
You drink right out of the tap. In India, go try and do that. you'll end up fucking shitting worms. In New York, it's the cleanest tap water in the country. You go to India and it's like you will literally shit your brains out until you die.
Yeah.
You drink their water once. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they make bars of soap made out of shit there. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a fake Indian joke or something, but I've heard that. I've heard it. It could be true.
I don't know about that.
We at least have to question it.
That's hilarious. All right, man. Well, thank you for joining. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I'm curious what you think of this idea. That I say this idea a lot. And I'm curious what you think of it, because it seems like we agree for the most part on most things, but if, like, we can all address that there's a black crime issue, that black people are committing an absurd amount of violent crimes, especially for such a small demographic in the United States. Do you think we should give them the option of either, I personally think we should bring back 3 strike laws, and if we were to do that, where it's like if you commit 3 very violent acts, you go to jail for the rest of your life. Do you think we should give them the option to either go to jail for life or be deported back to, like, Africa?
I doubt they would ever want to be deported back to Africa. They'd probably sit in prison, but...
I think a lot of them would.
You think so?
I do.
I don't know about that.
Life in prison or life out in the open? I think most people take life out in the open.
Probably, but... Yeah, I don't know. It's gnarly. I
personally think we should be deporting a lot of the... Like... I'm anti-death penalty for almost for everything. Minus like terrorists, maybe, it's a couple very specific cases, but for the most part, I'm against the death penalty, and I think we should just be deporting a lot of the criminals to a lot of just the worst places in the world. Like
I
I
think
think
I think we just need to get families back together and all this, and it affects the black community a lot more because more of the males in the black community leave the family, and then that corrupts
huge
the
problem.
child. Yeah, and then
Do you
the
think we should
mom.
be punishing those? Like, do you think abandoning your child should be a very punishable crime?
I think it could be a punishable crime depending on like what did the wife just leave you? Did you just leave?
Like,
What
if you
like
just abandon your, like, in the same way, like a lot of the people in the black community do. If you just abandon your, the woman you knocked up and their kid, maybe you're not even married. Do
yeah,
you think that should be a crime punishable by jail?
by jail. I was gonna say like punishable by what? Yeah, I think so, and it kind of is at some point. If you don't pay your child support, you will go
Mm-hmm.
to jail. So, um, yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't.
we agree on that.
There needs to be something else though, and not just for the black community either. Like I
And
under
do you think this is a tougher black question, a little bit more on the edge of it, but do you think that there is a genetic IQ difference?
I haven't really looked into it. I have black friends that I would say are just as smart as me, but when it comes down to the whole, I don't know. I would have to look into it more. I've heard people say there is the sub-Saharan IQ thing. That's why they don't have all this big infrastructure in Africa, and
They have no history because they didn't develop written language, like writing anything down until we taught them it. So it was like they had no history to, like,
but
a lot of
I guess
crazy
I don't
things.
understand what the argument would be for the lower IQ. Like, what's the point about saying that they have lower IQ?
Finding a different way to
Have them
integrate them
acclimate.
into society. Like, I think we expected people who weren't capable of assimilating to assimilate perfectly, and we have to partially blame ourselves. It's not that.
100%. It's a trickle down from the government. The government fucks them over a lot for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, when you
So,
pay people to not work and just to
yep,
have babies and not be
yep,
married, they're going to take advantage of that for
yep,
sure.
yep.
Um, but I think just finding a way to integrate them into society in a way that suits their abilities. And again, it's not a complete generalization of all blacks, because like you said, you have a black friend who's smart. I have black friends who are like, there are blacks who, far
So would that
exceed,
be a DEI thing?
not even like DEI, like just different roles and different, like the idea of like, oh, are there black jobs and white jobs? I would say that there actually kind of are. The same way there's like illegal immigrant jobs and there are citizen jobs. I would say like the black jobs align more with like manual labor, a lot of things that illegal immigrants and immigrants tend to do, compared to more of the white collar jobs or even like pilots, hospitals, things like that. And sure, again, you're gonna find your like exceptional, really smart black guy who's able to far exceed, everyone around him. Because it's not only genetic. There are other factors, but IQ seems to primarily be genetic. And it seems like if we keep expecting people to assimilate well and to contribute in a way that other people are when they're not capable of it, all it does is hurt those people and hurt the society as a whole. And I think it's like an uncomfortable truth as well, because it's like you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. As Christians, we see everybody as equal. Like, I don't look at a black person and just think, oh, he might
Um,
be lower IQ, so he's lesser of a person. We're all equal under God. We'll all face the same judgment or a similar style of judgment. But the idea is that there are differences. Like, if you were to look at a black person's bones, they have different bones. They have different bone structure, different muscles, different muscle fiber. All these things are different. So it would be crazy to think that there's, no other differences when it comes to the brain and IQ. And like, if we don't acknowledge them, it doesn't help it. Like, not acknowledging truth doesn't help anybody. And I think that's one of the things I respected most about Charlie Kirk, is he had the balls to like say
yep,
that part.
yeah. I just don't know like what kind of plan you could do for that without it being something like DEI or something where I don't know. Yeah, I
I
don't even
think
know
you
what.
could create some programs where it's like these are, fairly like, saying black specific jobs is going to be hard to sell to the American people, obviously, because like people fought so hard to get rid of like black jobs and white jobs. But I do think there is some truth to the idea. And I think instituting some type of programs like that, where it's like we get them off of welfare and we get them actually to working like lower skilled labor. I do think that's probably the off ramp. But Realistically, do I think it will ever happen? Probably not. But I think that is the best course of action.
Yeah, yeah. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
It's a tougher
That
one for
it is
sure. It's a
tough.
tougher one, especially if it's like not something you haven't thought about before. That's why I was just curious if you have.
Yeah, yeah. I think we can do a lot better in this country. We have to get our shit together and stop fighting for Israel every second of the day. And
I agree. I agree. I think we have to just realize what this nation was, what it was intended for, and a little bit who it was intended for. But like prior to the Hart-Celler Act, the idea on immigration was you have to be a good moral white man to immigrate to America. And then post Hart-Celler, which was I think 1964 or 5 or something, right around there, right around the same time as civil rights, then it became like almost anybody could immigrate to the United States. So we have to focus on like who the country was built for, how to get it back to a country that is financially successful. And a lot of that is just like very basic, simple things like me and you were saying, just putting America first, not being controlled by Israel, not letting the lobbyists control the government, letting the people control the government. But it's a lot
being a
harder to get
Christian
there.
country, what do you think about like pushing certain religions in school? Like they're talking about doing the Ten Commandments in schools.
I don't see anything like while the Ten Commandments are religious, it's like they're also just good moral values. You know, I don't
100%.
even see them like we talk a lot about that and like that's a big debate, but it's like, okay, where do we get our morals from? Like if from the
Yep.
beginning we didn't have this moral framework to work off of, society would have never progressed to where it is now. The reason
Yep.
society is where it is now and we're not like raping and killing each other
It's a
left and
Christian
right.
society.
Yeah, it's because we do follow a Christian moral framework of don't
Yep.
kill, don't fuck your neighbor's wife, don't cheat, don't beat people,
Everybody's
don't
equal
lie,
to
don't
it.
steal. Like, yeah, everybody's equal. You know, respect that you do have a creator. And the more we kind of go away from this, the more we see
Oh,
society start to collapse in a lot of ways. You know, the more we have gone away from religion, the more we see abortion becoming rampant and black crime becoming a problem and lobbying becoming more of a problem. And people are political sluts for money. They're not doing it for more like people used to join politics for moral reasons, not for financial reasons. And now we've seen the exact opposite of what this was intended to be kind of open up in front of our eyes. And we need to get back to the true intentions of we are a Christian nation. We should be teaching a lot of these Christian morals. And even if you don't frame it, like I'm not saying you have to frame it in a way like you have to force every kid to believe this thing. Because if you force kids to do something, they're going to rebel. You know, that's
yeah.
just the nature of
No,
human
I see what
beings.
you mean. Like my boss, he doesn't believe in Jesus or anything, but he believes that Jesus is a good path to follow.
Yeah, like just the
So,
idea of like, don't kill, don't cheat,
go lay
don't
down.
steal, you know, be a good human being, treat others in a similar way you want to be treated. Like the teachings of Jesus Christ are beautiful. And even if you don't look at it as religious, you just look at it as like if you just look at it from the perspective of okay, Jesus was a philosopher. Like if you're not a religious person and you're unwilling to accept that he's Christ, okay, at least look at him as a philosopher who does have all these great ideas of what do make a great society. And if people were to follow it, it would be a lot better of a society and we would see these kids with, you know, we wouldn't see like 16-year-olds trying to like pop their ass out on Instagram. We
Yeah.
wouldn't see like people going to college and like, you know, just blowing some guy because he gave them the bare minimum amount of attention. I made a joke. The video eventually got deleted by Instagram, but it went ultra viral. And I said, you know, imagine being a good dad for 18 years and your daughter just sucks a guy's dick because he bought her a rum and coke and asked her what her major is. But that's the reality of what we deal with. It's like I went to a big party school and I watch girls like literally do that. And it's like this is a demonic society. This is a society
Yep.
that like people should not be
It's
necessarily proud of.
yeah. It's American college culture right there. But like
So terrible. It's disgusting.
Babylon, that's what it is.
It's literally just like whores and retards. That's literally what college is now. It's literally like a bunch of retards and a bunch of sluts all living in one area, uh,
To pay
doing some
money
of
to
their
not get a
worst
job.
idea. Yeah, like they're all just acting on some of their worst ideas and lustful desires. And it's not contributing, it's not doing anything for society but hurting it. We've only seen the job market get worse, the dating market get worse, the overall morals get worse. Nothing's getting better with any of this.
Yeah. Yeah, do you think heaven's full of Christians right now?
Like, do I think anyone else is there besides Christians?
No, like I don't know. I interpret this passage when God says like you will all be judged in the end. You shouldn't judge because you all will be judged in the end. So that I don't know, something tells me there that heaven's not filled with people right now. There's like a waiting period where Jesus comes back and judges us all at the same time.
I don't know. I do like to think there are a lot of like I like to think that like Charlie Kirk is in heaven, and I like to think that a lot of people are in heaven. I do think there will be a time that Christ does come back, but I do think the time that Christ comes back is when we are able to. In my mind, it's when we are able to prove to the Jews primarily that Jesus was the Son of God. I think that is one of the biggest
Yeah,
stepping stones we have to achieve
it's
to get Christ to
happening.
come back. Yeah, I
But
do think it is happening slow. Like, I think with the youth, it's happening. I
yep.
know a lot of Jewish youth, like a lot of people who are, in college who are Jews or just early 20s who are converting to Christianity, specifically Catholicism, which is really cool and very rare to see. You never saw that before. So I do think it might be happening, but I try not to get ahead of myself on like
Well,
the
it
things like
says
that.
all nations will go against Israel. So
Everyone
some,
will kneel to Christ. And what is it? There's always the verse I always come back to, like Revelations 3:9, I think it is, where it's like those who say they are Jews but lie will what is it? Is it they will fall or they will then they'll kneel to Christ then? I don't know. I'm so bad at quoting scripture. I have such bad ADHD that like when I go to quote it, my it just starts running rampant.
it's
But yeah,
not
it's
easy.
something about how the Jews will kneel to Christ. It's in Revelations 3:9, and like how the Jews who say they're Jews are lying. Because I do believe that. Because it's the idea of like the Jews and Israel and all that is one thing in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament, like I said, I think it's everybody. I think we are all the children of God, and people who accept Christ are the new Israel, quote unquote. And I think the people who still believe in the prophecies of the Old Testament and that they're still trying to bring that to fruition, I think those are the Jews who have to kneel to Christ. That's my
Yeah,
interpretation.
I think they will. Even talk to my dad. He thinks Benjamin Netanyahu is going to turn to Christ, which I don't know about that. But
Benjamin Netanyahu will die well before that happens, I'd imagine.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I've read some of the most disgusting things I've ever read in the Talmud as well. That's also like what turns me off a lot too. Some of the Jewish topic stuff, or not the
is,
topic, but just the idea of it. It's like you read in there that like Jesus is burning in hell and
is
is
that
on like
real?
semen and shit. Yeah, it is, and it's
Hmm.
like it's disgusting to read that. And then like a lot of it is to understand the Talmud, though, you have to understand like what it is. It's not just like a book, like a normal book. It's debates. So the entire book is like different rabbis debating how to interpret different scriptures,
Hmm.
and a lot of rabbis were agreeing that what it is Jesus Christ is burning in hell in semen and shit. And it's just like that is just a disgusting thing to say about the same people that you pitch the Judeo-Christian relationship to. Like any
Yeah,
Talmud following Jew has read that and they've kept it from anybody else who have like you don't hear Ben Shapiro talking about that, and it's because he purposefully keeps it, quiet. And that's like kind of what I was saying earlier, where it's like Benjamin Netanyahu will say one thing in English and then another thing in Hebrew. Like there is a completely secret, separate agenda that they do keep quiet. Similar, like they didn't want us to find out about Greater Israel. They don't want us to see that like we're kind of all Amalek to them, and like for their prophecies to be fulfilled, pretty much we all have to die, and like 2/3 of their own religion has to die, and
well, I think Amalek is in the Bible. It refers to like the people that live in Gaza right now or close to that area.
that's what they kind of say. But from my interpretation, the way I kind of see them like vaguely talk about it, I think they view it as the
It's
white
Goyim.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
like anybody who's not Jewish or anybody who like fights against it. And like, I think that's how yeah, Goyim, I guess, kind of what you said. I'm over explaining it. You had a good, concise answer there. But yeah, like the Goyim, I think that's how they view it. And I think they do view as like Goyim do have to either be enslaved or die. And for their own prophecies to be true, 2/3 of the Jews have to die as well.
Yeah, well, that'll probably happen when they come. I mean, they're supposedly in an 8-front war, with the eighth front being American social media. But
That's one of the craziest things to me that people don't call it. Like, when you hear them say that openly, when like the mass media hears them say, yeah, we're in a war against the American media and we're a foreign, like if Russia said we're in a war against the American media, that would be a problem to
well,
politicians, to the media. If China said that, it would be a problem. But Israel says it and it's like, we fucking love these guys. Like, it's like they're giving them pats on the back. And I'm like, what are
yeah,
you talking about? Like,
I
why
mean,
are you?
we ripped TikTok out of Chinese hands and just gave it to Israel. So
That got me banned. I had thousands of followers on TikTok, and then my account got deleted out of nowhere because I posted a video of I posted a few different things, but the one that got a strike was I posted a. You ever seen the movie Casino?
yeah,
You know the clip where they drive out in the desert and he's like, "You motherfucking Jew! Like, I'll have your Jew ass on a stick. You ever fucking go back home and make a problem about me again?" It's like mid end of the movie. But I posted that clip and I said like Bibi Netanyahu talking to Trump, and it was basically like about the June bombing. And then I got banned on TikTok right after Allison bought it, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Then I just went to Instagram. I was like, fuck TikTok.
yeah.
Yeah, it is a problem. They do really the algorithm changed. You know, I used to see Israeli war crimes every day. Now I haven't seen one since.
Seems like it's kind of like that on X now too, more and more lately.
I do miss the day like the X algorithm was like at its worst with propaganda. I would say in like during the Tucker cost, during like the after Tucker and Nick sat down, after Ted Cruz's interview, when like everything was super volatile there and people were really starting to scrutinize the Israelis. I think that's when the algorithm was crazy because like every tweet of my timeline was Josh Hammer, Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, Benjamin Netanyahu, the IDF, APAC, just the entire list of the Zionist cucks. And I almost miss it because like my show is I think more entertaining then because like I was seeing that all day. Like all day I'd be scrolling X and all I'd be seeing is Israeli Hezbollah bullshit and I'd be getting pissed off. And then I would go and like rant about it for like 2 hours straight on the show. And now it's like I open X and it's like I just see like people agreeing with me and I'm like, okay, like I could still talk about this, but it's like I miss the days where everything I disagreed with because it gave me more to talk about. So it's like I do agree it is a huge problem, and I'm not trying to promote like the timeline should be filled with Israeli bullshit.
Yeah,
But it made my show more interesting when it was, I will say.
for sure. It's the extension or the thought process of people. Like so much stuff just goes under the radar after a week of being out. Iran war's happening. Not very many people are talking about Epstein anymore.
No. And I think also a big part of like a lot of the people who were like, stop. Well, the Epstein thing's different. I was going to say a lot of the reason a lot of people stopped talking about the Israel thing in general, like being very pro Israel, is the $7,000 checks didn't cash. Like they all bounced. They just didn't get paid. And like that was a big, like you saw Brandon Tatum like throwing himself at Israel. And he was even like, yeah, I only got spit on once when I was in Israel. Only once. And it was okay. And it's like, okay, if I was in Israel and I got spit on, I would beat the fuck out of that child who spit on me. Wouldn't even think about it. I would commit a war crime against that child for spitting on me. And like this guy's just like, yeah, it's okay. It's like, okay, that's crazy. But the Epstein thing too, it's like, I don't think Iran was a purposeful distraction from Epstein, but I think they knew what they were doing. Like, I don't think they went into Iran thinking, like, we're going to distract from Epstein. But I think when they went into Iran, they were like, this will also distract from Epstein.
I think it's the opposite, actually. I think it was blackmail that pushed them into Iran.
That's definitely a huge part of it. I mean, the blackmail they have on Trump, I mean, that would feed generations if we ever got that.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever hear it. You know, I think there are things that we'll never truly know, and that is sad. But I do think that's one of them. We'll never know the blackmail they have on Trump. Most likely, yeah. It's a sad. Every time I say it out loud, I'm like, damn. Like I get like almost upset because it's a sad reality to deal with that we are just that cucked in our own country that we pay taxes to. We are just truly like the cuck sitting in the corner, just watching it all happen.
First Jewish president.
That was a crazy moment when Mark Levin little brothered him. That was so embarrassing.
Made me sad.
I do think Trump probably is. Not probably. I would put it at 25% chance Trump is a secret Jew. Because those do exist. What do they call themselves? Let me look it up. There's a name for it.
I don't even know a secret Jew, but I was thinking like this might have been planned all the way before 2016.
I'm trying
Like
to
this whole
crypto Jew. They're called crypto Jews.
crypto Jew,
They're called crypto Jews.
Bitcoin Jew.
Bitcoin Jew, yeah, Dogecoin Jews. But no, they're called crypto Jews, and what they are they say they're Christians, but they're actually Jews who are working in the interest of Israel in the media, in government, in just regular life. And I think Trump might be one of them. I genuinely think he is.
He doesn't even want to. He says like, "I ain't gonna make it to heaven."
That's a weird thing to say. A very weird thing to
not
say.
Gonna say that.
Yeah, like it almost feels like a humiliation ritual to say to it, because it's like, if you're a Christian, you're saying I'm getting into heaven. Like that's kind of that's a crazy thing to say as well, because it's like you shouldn't be so sure of it. You should understand that we are gonna go and we are gonna. Your wealth, your whatever, you're not bringing that with you. All you're going to bring with you is your actions, the good and the bad, and you will be judged on all of it. And a good Christian would think, okay, like I might not be sure that I'm getting into heaven, but I'm going to do everything possible. And I'm definitely not going to say that I'm not. I'm going to do whatever I can.
Ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, exactly. And when you get shot in the ear, and the time you got shot in the ear is you literally turn your head at the last moment where the bullet would have went through and blew off your head, but instead it just hit your ear. That is an act of God. And then when you don't go into church, like Trump hasn't gone to church since that. Like that is directly spitting in the hand that feeds you. That is directly saying fuck you to the same God that spared your life. So
I don't think he's a believer.
I don't think so either. I think Trump is just egotistical. I think it's whatever he thinks is going to be popular to the people. Like he's Jewish to the Jews, he's Christian to the Christians. You know, it's whoever he's in front of, he's a different person. There's so many different masks to who Donald Trump is.
Yeah, he's not even funny anymore. I mean,
no,
the Pearl Harbor thing was pretty funny, actually.
I will say that was good. That was good. That was just clever timing wise, but I agree. It's not like Trump was so clever and he was so witty, and it was because he was anti-establishment in a lot of ways that made him like so attractive and like funny. And it's almost like when you look at the pretty girl and she's a little bit funnier than like the ugly girl who's like equally as funny. Like you just think she's a little funnier because there's a mask to it, because she's more beautiful. And it's like that's what Trump was. Trump was that pretty bitch who now is just a like ran through OnlyFans whore it's like it's not even funny anymore. It's like if Trump was deporting millions of illegals and he wasn't funding foreign wars and he actually stopped the wars and the stock market was great and like he was doing something to help the disaffected white people in the country, it's like, okay, I would laugh at your jokes. I would love your jokes. Maybe I'd buy you a drink, Trump. But I don't even want to flirt with him anymore. Like, I don't even want, you know what I mean? Like, it's a weird analogy, but I feel like that's what it is. It's like, I don't even want to be around you. Like,
Yep. And I don't know. There's some people like my co-hosts that they're like on the line, but for some reason, I don't know if they're afraid of saying they were wrong for voting for Trump, or what it is, but I think it's an ego thing in themselves too.
That was a really hard thing for me because it's like when I started my show, I started my show January of last year. January. You vote 6th,
for him 3 times?
I voted for him twice. 2020, I voted. I went through like a libertarian phase in college. So I voted. No. I think it was who was the libertarian candidate? It was some dude. I can't even remember off the top of my head. It was such an irrelevant person, but I remember I was in college and I was like going through my libertarian thing. And I was like, you know what? Let's like fuck the Republicans, fuck the Democrats. But I was in West Virginia also at the time. So it's like Trump was winning that no matter what. I knew that going into it. But I voted for him. I guess I only voted for him once. I wasn't old enough to vote in the first one, thinking about it. I went with my buddy to vote. That's why at first I was like, it kind of clicked in my mind. So I voted for him once, 2024. Regretted my vote too, but
there you go.
So from January to like May on my show, I did my show Monday through Friday every day, and you could see I'm like praising Trump. I'm repeating the talking points. And in May, you can kind of like, you could literally see it on my show from May to like August, where it's like my slow transition of like, okay, Trump is the greatest guy to ever live to like fuck this guy completely. And like episode by episode, you could see me like slowly getting there. And it's kind of cool to see in real time, like my kind of like red pill moment where I'm just like, holy shit, Trump is a fucking cuck. like Trump said he was going to do this, and like now come August, like here we are, and he's doing none of it, and he's burying Epstein and bombing
Yep.
Iran. So
the Dow's at 50,000.
that was crazy. It's like, okay, now that the Dow's under 50, can we talk about it? It's like now that the Dow's at 46,000, can we speak about it?
That is pretty crazy because it kind of showed that like even the stock market cared about the Epstein files.
Do you think women should be involved in politics?
I think in some ways, yeah, but
Like in government roles, do you think they should be able to hold government positions?
Like Tulsi Gabbard or
Yeah, or like Pam
Bondi
Bondi, or like
whatever.
any like even Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like I actually like what she did, but still.
In general, I'd probably say no, but I feel like certain people, just like any group of people, can have singles, like one person that's really good at this.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you put them in
The
that
exception of the
position?
rules, not the rule itself.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's tough. They do have a lot more emotion on all the decisions they make. They're swindled easily.
If women didn't vote, we probably wouldn't have any illegal immigrants, or we would probably have stopped illegal immigration by now too, I'd imagine.
I wish Herman was here to argue these points with you.
I like this show a lot. Like that's why we originally said like 45 minutes. I'll go as long as you want. I don't mind. I'm having fun just talking. So
nice.
This seems like a fun. I haven't met Herman yet, but from what you said, it sounds like a good guy. So I would definitely come back on when he's on too. But yeah.
All right.
I don't mind. Like I said, whatever you want to do, I'm enjoying it. So.
All right, cool. I don't know if you want to be on next week sometime, and we'll get Herman on here too.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. Sorry the schedules didn't line. I know you said you got called into work, but yeah, sorry it didn't line up perfectly. But
it's all good.
We've been trying to get it done for a bit. But I checked out your show. I liked it too when you sent it. I hadn't heard of it, but then when I checked it out, I liked it. I gotta ask, goofy. Who decided on the profile picture?
That was me.
That's a crazy. I will say it's a crazy profile. Like it will get some people, but at the same time, it might throw some people off.
I don't give a shit. But Herman and the other co-host that's on sometimes is like, you need to change that. I'm like, fuck, I don't care.
No, it's funny. I saw it and I laughed. I was just like, that's crazy. Like it's just like a thumb. Like I'm like, that's crazy. I laughed at it. I thought it was a good one. But no, I was just curious. I'm like, who came up with that?
We're just goofy. I mean, we talk politics a good amount, but we like comedy a lot. So
yeah, no, I'm with you there because it's like I started it and it was strictly political, and over time it's like I've really let my sense of humor bleed into my show. Yeah, and like half my show is just like comedy. Like yesterday, I think I did like a 30-minute rant about why you just can't trust women. I was like, Eve ate the apple, and ever since you just cannot trust a bitch. Like, and I just went over on like a 30-minute rant about it, and it's just like, you know, it's serious, but it's not. Like, it's partially true, but at the same time, it's an equal amount of just like me bullshitting and being funny.
For sure, trolling. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I drive for a living, so all I do is listen to podcasts, and I came across you, and I listen to you every other day now. So
I love it. I appreciate it. What are your favorite shows?
Dude, I listen to, you've said them all on here. Tim Dillon. I wish he did more than one show a week.
I love Tim Dillon too. He's so funny.
He is. Dave Smith. I love Dave Smith. I used to listen to a fuck ton of Rogan. I don't listen to as much Rogan anymore, but because I don't know. I don't care when he has some stupid actor on, really. But
I'm with you. I get that. Unless it's someone I love, I don't really even watch the episodes anymore. I used to watch them all, but it's like unless it's someone that I find myself watching old Joe Rogan episodes more now. Like you seem like a UFC guy, I'm guessing, based off your first question. Like I'll go back and watch the old Chael Sonnen episodes. I'll watch, like old Alex Jones. Chael Sonnen. Have you ever watched I'm sure you've seen the clip where Joe Rogan and Chael Sonnen are talking. And Chael does the he tells the Joey Diaz story where it's like my intro to Joey Diaz is he's telling me about a hooker whose wig he said on. Like, have you ever seen that clip or no?
I can't put my finger on it, but probably.
I'll send you the clip, but it's like basically Chael Sonnen is telling a story about how he met Joey Diaz, and he's like, the first time I had Joey Diaz on my show, I asked him like, how did you get into podcasting? And he goes, well, I set a hooker's wig on fire. and or like we mugged a hooker and set her wig on fire, and he's like, okay, like how does that get you into plot? Like he just was like so shocked by the answer, and then they go into this whole
Dude,
story. But
Joey
I found the
Diaz.
original episode where Joey Diaz and Chael Sonnen sit down and they talk about it's. To be honest, the funniest thing I've ever listened to in my life. I'll send it to you after this.
Send
It's
it to me.
the funniest thing. It's not on like any Spotify or like it's on just some weird obscure website that you can just listen on, but it's so perfect. It's the
I
funniest
love
thing
Joey
I've ever
Diaz, dude. Blue cheese and go fuck your mother.
heard. It's so funny because like Joey Diaz is kind of from where I'm from in Jersey. So it's so funny to see like because you would see guys like that. Like I grew up 30 minutes from the Cavalcante family, which was like the Jersey crime family.
Oh,
And
damn.
it's just so funny to see like a guy like Joey like make it and talk about the things he talks about. Cause it's like, that's like the shit that was in Sopranos that people didn't realize was like
Fuck
kind of
yeah.
real on the side. Like that was happening in Jersey City and Hoboken and these bigger places.
He's a wild boy. But
Oh, he's crazy. I mean, he kidnapped somebody. You got to be crazy to do that.
yeah. But probably the other ones would be, like Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes. I don't know. I don't know about Asmongold really or Sneeko. I don't really listen to much of them.
I'm
I'll
not big
watch
on
some clips.
Asmongold. I like Sneeko's videos, not his live streams as much.
Yeah, I've never watched a live stream, but I watch a lot of Sneeko clips, and I don't know, man.
It's a love and hate thing for me with Sneeko because like I like him because in the end he is like kind of pretty America first. He's like very based about certain topics, but at the same time he does not believe that America should be a primarily white country, or he doesn't believe that it's a Christian country either. And I think those are two things that it's like, okay, you're either gonna have to get along or get left behind eventually, and that's a sad reality. Is like in 20 years, Sneeko's either gonna have to hop on or get off.
Yeah,
He's not gonna make it.
Probably before that.
A lot
what do you
of
think
people
about,
aren't going to make it, I think. There's a lot
what
of
do you
people
think
who
about Tate, the Tate brothers?
very immoral, but I like what they stand for in a lot of ways. Like I think what Clavicular and like what Andrew Tate and like what these guys do, where it's like, and like even Dan Bilzerian, used to do a similar thing when he was a sex addict.
He's a wild man.
All these, have you ever read his book? Crazy.
No, I haven't.
Crazy book.
Yeah.
Wild book. But if you look at like what these people are doing, like the big picture of like what Clavicular Andrew Tate do, they expose that women will throw away a 5-year relationship for like
100%.
proximal hypergamy, like just to be associated with Clavicular for his live stream or to like kiss him on live stream or to be like that bitch that night, whatever. Like these women will throw away a 5-year relationship and they'll like cheat on a guy, like, and that's an important lesson for men to learn, is that not only as a man do you have to ascend, like you should focus on your health and hygiene and your looks. You should focus on your wealth. You should focus on, going to the gym and all the, like having some form of status as a man. I do think it's important, but it's also an equally important lesson to learn that like you can't trust most of these women. And I do think that's a hard lesson to learn, but every man at some point, whether you get cheated on or you watch your buddy get cheated on, every man learns at some point you can never fully trust a woman. Or at least
and
most women.
I wasn't a huge Clavicular fan. Still I'm not a huge fan, but I seen like last week, he had this live, it was just a clip I saw, but this girl was at his place and her boyfriend called and he answered, and him and the girl's boyfriend like hit it off, and he kicked that bitch out and was like, and her boyfriend was like, we're done. I was like, that's what it's supposed to.
Exactly. But my problem with Clavicular is like 10 years ago, we would have called him gay. Like a guy who gets plastic surgery and like he just like how crazy is it that there are people now like justifying Clavicular wearing makeup as a man under the idea of looks maxing? It's like, that's just gay. Like that's what we called gay 10 years ago. You're wearing makeup, you're getting a height lengthening surgery, you're using a penis pump, you're like taking peptides and testosterone, you're infertile. It's like, we used to just call that being gay back in the day. Now it's like, this is what looks maxing is. So I think like looks maxing is important to a degree, but I think the second you're going into like getting surgeries, that's where it truly, like, I could even agree with like the bone smashing. Like there's like a legit science to the idea that if you give yourself microfractures, that it will grow back differently. Like I train MMA. when I first started training MMA, my first like 3 days of MMA was my trainer just rolling my wrists, my hands, and my legs, giving me micro fractures because he was like, you will grow back stronger and you will be a better fighter in the long run because of it. And that's what it is. It's like, it's a true science to that. But it's like getting a leg lengthening surgery, people don't walk again after that. South Park made a whole episode like 10 years ago about how stupid of an idea that is, that people actually do that. And it's like, the fact that that's a reality now, like that's just, it's gay to me. But I do think the idea of like what he represents is like, you can't trust these women. Like if your girl is out at the club or the bar, you know, anywhere where clavicular would be, that's a woman you can't trust. And I do think that's like a different way to learn. Like some people are going to learn that lesson from Charlie Kirk just saying, don't go to the club. Some people are going to learn that lesson by watching, you know, a woman cheat on her boyfriend of 5 years with Clav.
Yep. And I wish Herman was here to talk to you about that, because he's got like the most wonderful wife of all time.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah. And
yeah.
So he's got all kinds of different views on clavicular and
my standards for women are just too high is my problem. Like my grandma's the greatest woman ever live. And like I'm so close to my grandma and I see the way my grandma and grandma still, you know, are how they talk to each other, how they act with each other, and like the dynamics of like she's the woman of the house, he's the man of the relationship.
That's awesome.
But I'll never find that. So
no, you don't say that.
I'll never find a woman who's as good as my grandma. That's what I mean. Like it's just like that's my standard for women is like, are you as good as my grandma? And it's like no woman will ever.
What's your favorite meal that she makes for you?
Homemade. She makes like great homemade pasta and like she's Italian as shit. So like homemade meatballs, pasta, garlic bread. Like we do Sunday dinners every week, so it's like she's always making something different. But like that's like I'm so close to my grandparents and like my family, very family oriented. We do a family dinner every week with like cousins, grandparents, some of my parents. You know, we all live in different places, but a lot of us live close, so we'll get together. And yeah, my grandma cooks the entire thing. She cleans the entire, like, it's crazy. Or it's actually funny because it's the man, like, we'll walk into my grandparents and all the men, we immediately go to the couch. We sit down, we watch football or golf or whatever's on Sunday. All the women start cooking, prepping the table, doing everything. And then they just say, appetizers are ready. All the men will go and eat them. We'll go sit down at the table. And then all the women at the end of dinner, we get up, we go back to the couch, the women clean it. And it's like, this is what society was meant to be. We fund all of this and they clean and cook and prepare and do it all. Like we're funding it, they're preparing it. Like that's what society was. And that's what it should be. It works perfectly.
If your grandma asked you to do the dishes, you would, because you love her, right?
In a heartbeat. But it's like, she doesn't even have to, because I'll volunteer to do the other stuff. Like there's 2 to 3 trash bags at the end of a Sunday dinner.
For sure.
Me and the men, we're taking those out, you know? Like, I don't know, like, someone forgets something in the car. We're running down to get it. Like, the groceries get dropped, like, they live in a high-rise building. Groceries get dropped off at the bottom. The men are going to, like, grab, you know, like, the heavy lifting, like, you know, like, they'll cook in, like, these big-ass pots, and they'll get heavy.
For sure.
And, like, my grandma can't lift it. The men will do the you know? We'll do the heavy lifting. We'll like help you out and assist with like the male parts of it. But at the same time, like the Italian women in my family, they grew up loving to cook and loving to like Italian
jealous.
Women view men not as higher, but like kind of better. And it sounds fucked up when you say it that way, but it's like if you ask any of my Italian aunts, like who do you like better, your son or your daughter? Every one of them's gonna say their son, because that's what that's how they were taught growing up, is like they respected their fathers, so now they look at their sons as like they're raising them to be that man, and you gotta like build them up to that. So Italians operate differently because like women run the home, but men kind of have the final say.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pasta dish?
I'm simple. Like I just give me any homemade pasta. With
carbonara.
I was gonna say like either vodka sauce or like a really good marinara, but I love a good homemade vodka sauce. And this isn't even true Italian, but I love a good Alfredo sauce too. Like a good Alfredo is great.
Well, it can be if you do it right. It's just pasta, water, Parmesan cheese, and butter.
Yeah.
So. But when we put a whole thing of heavy cream in there, that's when it's getting to be not Italian.
Tastes a little good though. The heavy cream does add some good flavor.
It does. Yeah. It does. For sure.
I love a good Alfredo. But vodka sauce is truly I love vodka sauce.
I like
even love
meat.
like, yeah, throws any, whatever in the, like meatballs, throw anything in the pasta. But like whatever my grandma will make homemade is the best. So like she always will do like meatballs. She'll always do pasta. She'll
Any
do
American style shit like
our
chicken
Sunday
and
dinners are
dumplings.
always Italian. Sometimes chicken cutlets, but rarely. When we go out, sometimes. I don't know. My favorite foods though, like I'm pretty simple. Like I love pizza. I eat pizza 7 days a week almost. Six,
Oh my
7 days a week. I swear, I have a local tab at a pizza place, like a monthly
God.
tab at a local pizza place, and I go there almost every day and just pay the tab at the end of the month. Like I
What's your
love
pizza?
pizza. Just cheese pizza. I'm just like I grew
Fucking
up in
Dave
New York.
Portnoy, motherfucker.
I used to literally just like walk around the city in Jersey just eating pizza all the time. And I found this great pizza place near me and I asked them, I'm like, can I just start a monthly tab here? Like I'm good for the money. And they were like, yeah, sure. And now I just do that. I
That's
go there
awesome.
like after this, I'm gonna go and get 3 or 4 slices of pizza.
You like spicy food?
I'm not a big spicy guy. I don't know what it is. I don't do well with spices. I'm very white in that manner, but I do not do well with I like pepper and that's as spicy as I get.
I like pepper. Pepper's
Yeah.
good.
But no,
I think
I can't do most of the spices. Do not like them. Don't react well with me. I'll be shitting for days with spicy.
pepperoni, jalapeno, and pineapple. #1 pizza.
I've actually never had pineapple on pizza. I've never even tried it.
Really?
Yeah, I've never given it a shot. I should. I should at some point give it a shot. I hear like ham and pineapple is what people go for.
Yeah, that's
I
a Hawaiian.
I should try. Maybe I'll try it today. Maybe.
Do it.
Yeah, maybe I do that today.
All right. I might run into town and grab some pizza too, to be
Pizza's
honest.
so good. I love pizza. I'll never stop. Like, because I metabolize so fast because I work out a good amount. And I don't eat like 3 meals a day. I eat like 2 meals a day usually. So you metabolize a little better with that. Drink a lot of water. So I never
Intermittent
have to worry
fasting.
about getting fat, like just because I'm always working out.
It's like an intermittent fasting kind of.
Yeah, kind of like if you just eat like like I'll eat lunch around like anywhere between 12 and 3, and then I'll eat, dinner after my show. So like between like 9 and midnight. Sometimes I'm even eating at like 1 a.m.
Damn.
So like, and then I don't eat breakfast and you're just like fasting straight until lunch the next day.
Yep.
And,
That's good for you.
yeah.
What you should do.
A lot of people just do like one massive. I know Charlie Kirk did that. He did one massive meal a day and that was it. And like that's kind of not the worst way to do things, We do have a fat problem in America. I think the fat problem is actually a bigger problem than most.
Yeah, I'm part of it, dude.
You could always beat it though. That's the thing. Like being fat is easy to beat. Like it's just a mental thing. Like it's not actually hard to shed weight. It's just hard
discipline.
Yeah. It's like if you could have discipline with anything, you could just realize like eat a little bit less, work out a little bit more. And it's like to the people say, "Oh, I can't work out." It's like, "Okay, just go walk." Like at the bare minimum just walk. Like do the simplest version of it and then just make it a routine and a habit. And it's that easy. Like I've seen people in my family who were, overweight and fat and like I've seen them lose over 100 pounds and it's like a whole new person. They have more energy. Everyone's happier for them. They're happier in life. They're more attractive. There's a lot of benefits to it.
I'm just a glutton. I feel like it's sinful almost how just like I can't like, man, if there's something good, like meatloaf, mashed potatoes.
I get you. I'm with you. Because I love to eat too. Like, so I'm with you. The key is just work out a shit ton. And honestly, like timing is a big thing as well. Like when you eat the meals and also when you drink water. Like here's a good tip. Drink an ice cold glass of water, even 2 of them, like 1 or 2 ice cold glasses of water immediately before you go to bed and immediately upon waking up. Like if it's one of the first things you do within minutes of waking up, you'll instantly boost your metabolism right off the bat.
And you're taking some room up in your stomach so you won't be as hungry as quick. So.
And I always say this too, like, and it's, people disagree with me on this, but like cigarettes, nicotine, like I use Velos, but it's like just nicotine pouch. I saw you throw in a pouch in earlier too. And it's just like, that will help curb your appetite as well. Like if you have enough of those in all day, like you won't be fucking hungry for a good portion of that day.
I do too many. I have too much nicotine.
With them in? I sleep with them in now.
No, I've never once done that.
I do that now because like I'll just put one in and I'll start doom scrolling and then I'll pass out and then I'll go wake up with it just like laying on my tongue and I'm like, that's crazy.
I've caught myself with it in my lip and I'm like, oh fuck, take that out. I don't know how that helps you sleep. Probably doesn't.
Gives you fucked up dreams. Like, have you ever used a nicotine patch?
No.
I fell asleep with one of those on, and I really thought I was getting like raped by a demon. Like it will fuck your dreams up so bad. Like it will give you the worst dreams you've ever had. And it's like right on the box too, and I just didn't see it. But it's yeah. I had a nicotine patch on once when I was like in college, and I went back for Thanksgiving, and I didn't want my parents to know I was using these, so I put one on my leg, and yeah, fucked up. Never
They
doing it
know
again.
they know you do it now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an adult now. They like, what are they gonna say or do?
Oh, I
Or
see.
like, I'm almost 27 now, so I feel like an old man, even though I'm not old. I just feel old because I feel like the last 10 years of my life went by like that. Like when they say it does, it really like you really like wake up and you're like, wow, that just like a
Yeah, it
light that just
does.
went by.
It does. It does. All right, man. Well, we've been on 2 hours just
Yeah, it
over.
was fun.
So yeah,
I
it was
appreciate
fun.
you having me on. I'll definitely come back on. Would love to meet. You said Herman's his name?
Herman's one of the co-hosts, and then Steven's a co-host, but he's very rarely on. He just got his band just got signed to a record deal, so they're
Nice.
jamming out. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Thomas ate the cat.
Hell
Is
yeah.
the
Awesome.
but
I'll check it out. But yeah, I'll definitely come back on whenever you guys want. I'll go back and forth with Herman about I'll try and red pill him on Trump a bit.
sweet.
I'll
Yeah,
bring all my facts that day. But yeah, it was fun. I
sure.
appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, man. I had a good time. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Crazy People Podcast. James from America Unfiltered, and have a good one.
Thank you. Oh, wait.